What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to SteveBussaGS. I'm getting joined by one, the only, the assembly. My guys, what is going on, y'all?
What up, Steve? What up, Steve?
What up, Steve?
Look, this is a big moment, right? I gotta say this before we even get into anything. This is a group of individuals that not only far exceeds my own personal talent, but I have come to love these guys as fucking family. Nah. You're gonna take these compliments, my guy. You're gonna take these compliments. Nah. Look, it's been different, dog. Like the relationships that I have with these gentlemen have been, it transcends the fan to hip hop reactor fucking thing. When I seen y'all, man, y'all was in the fucking music video with fucking PQ and them, and y'all was playing basketball. And I remember I'm doing the fucking reaction to this shit, dog. And I started crying. Like I got like emotional seeing y'all like fucking happy and like chilling with each other and shit. Like it was during lockdown, so like I think like like that played a lot into it and shit. Like, dog, it's been a journey, and it's been a blessing to have discovered you guys, number one, and to have had the opportunity to share some shit on the channel with y'all and shit like that. So let's get into this stuff, my guys.
Yo, what up?
Mel, how you feeling? I know you was under the weather, my guy. How we feeling?
No, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling about 98% back, I got well wishes. I got love streaming in. I got people sending me that good shit too,
Hey.
They're keeping me medicated. They're keeping me medicated. Thank you for giving me a shout. I appreciate it. I was down. That shit caught me. I don't know what the hell. Left, right. But yo, here we are.
Yeah.
Bounce back, baby. It's the bounce back. That's what matters.
Word. But we out here. I'm feeling good.
All right, so the Assembly ZA. All right, let's get into it. Who are you? Why should the GSGang care about you? What do y'all represent? All right, so take the lead. Whoever want to start us off. But let's go with it. My people have no idea who you are, have never seen your face on the screen before. Who is the Assembly? Tell me.
Oh,
Oh, they pointing to you, Cap.
Gotta be Ho, man, because Ho's that guy. He'll give you the runner. It's gotta be Ho, man. Talk to him.
Talk about it, bro.
The Assembly are a group of golden generation educated hip-hop scholars, first of all. Strict lyricists with themselves and each other and everyone around them for the sake of hip-hop and for the sake of pushing ourselves to always be better, hence the entire school. That's what birthed it, that's what birthed the school of hip-hop, and that's from where the Assembly came. I don't know, man. That's a simple enough explanation, I think.
All right. So, let me ask you this: if I'm a hip hop fan and I'm just discovering you guys, how would you describe the lane that y'all occupy? Like, if you're really into this type of hip hop, if this is your bag, then these are your people to go to.
All right, so I guess I could put it like this, Steve. I think we took the best bits of what there was, and that sort of shaped and groomed us to be able to get to the place where we are, where we realize and are able to discern, like, okay, that's bullshit. That's not gonna fly in the lane where we at, and that's not applicable to us. And what we feel like we are doing is just doing the absolute basics right. The absolute bare bones of this thing. what we all fell in love with the with the culture for, and that's never left us. We stay cultivating that and sort of just replowing it, man, and grooming those coming through in the same sort of vein, and just appealing to people who find like a deeper meaning in things. Not just that surface level chewing gum, fast food type work. You feel me? So I think that's that. If that's what you like appeal to, that's where we're at. That deeper, than surface level. Yeah.
I seen a quote. I seen a quote that you put out on Twitter that stuck with me, and it's like it's become one of those things in my mind that like kind of like encompass what I expected this project to be. And he was talking to somebody, it might have been Mr. Hume, I'm not sure. He was talking to somebody that I fuck with on Twitter, and he replied back about the album, and he was like, "And we're not rapping about rapping." It's one of those things that's like, dog, it's so subtle, it's so concise, but it says so much, dog. It says so much.
Facts.
Word.
Big facts,
All right.
Steve. And if you hear orientation, I mean, you'll definitely know. It's night and day, exactly, between inspection and orientation. It is that. It's really not. It's not us rapping about rap. We've done that, Yeah, we've done that.
You have nothing to prove.
Yeah.
So this is a great. See, those are the statements I'm waiting for, so I can sink my teeth into it, right? Because look, for those of you who don't know, let's get into the meat and potatoes of this now. I love every one of these individuals, right? So I feel like I have the rapport where I can give them a little lashback, right? We can get into it a little bit. This ain't gonna be one of those pat on the back, nice job, everything you did ever is great. Nah.
Word.
Cool. You said you got nothing. You have nothing to prove at this point in your career. I want to elaborate on that,
No,
right?
Let me half retract that. In terms of nothing to prove, in terms of we can rap. As far as that goes, that's why we're not rapping about rapping, because you're not interested in telling you how good we rap. We're interested in exploring other things with the music.
I got you. I do want to hang on to that idea though, right? Because in order for me to have a conversation with y'all about whether or not you have something left to prove, right?
Yeah.
I need to know, how do you define success as a group versus as an individual? For you to look at the projects that you guys put together and to walk away from that and be like, that was a successful project. If you look at your career and you go to hang the mic up and you look back at your career and you're like, as the assembly, as a group, that was a successful endeavor. How do you define success, and how does that change between your individual ambitions versus your group ambitions?
Go, Mel.
I think we succeed on the mission when we can all put together our thoughts. You know what I mean? And they come out seamless on either a record or a project. I think in that we have succeeded already, because it's three individuals with three opinions about everything. And to find that we've aligned them and aligned our principles through each of our projects and tracks, that means that we're still connected. We're still branches on that big tree. You know what I mean? We haven't strayed too far for us to come together and leave there without having put something together that's cohesive and received just like that by whomever may come across it. I don't think the success is determined by anything external, perhaps just friends and fam, when they can tell you that you're still doing that thing you used to do, or you're still talking to me, or man, you helped me with the line on the track that you said, or you know what I mean? I think in that we've succeeded. The rest of the success, once it hits the streets, man, that's different. I feel like that happens while we're putting the records together and deciding that we're letting that out.
So, okay, let's buy into this a little bit, right? So, somebody's mic is crazy right now.
H.
Okay.
Yes.
So as far as like success being something that's more like, hey, we're identifying this by what we're creating as a group together, and to show that, you know what I'm saying, like this is, we haven't strayed from what the original mission is. That you didn't say a lot, right? So let's define that. I want to dig into this now, Mel. You said we will have achieved the mission if we stick to, you know what I'm saying, like what we've been doing, and we don't get. What is the mission? What is the mission that you want to stick to?
You're still talking to people. You're still inspiring people the way that we were inspired to pick up.
But don't people have to hear it for that to take place? Because if you're saying there's nothing external that matters, the only thing that matters is me and these two gentlemen right here coming together to make this music. If you're the only three to ever listen to that,
no, that's just where the success, where we feel like we've succeeded in putting this thing together, and we're ready to share it at that point there. Because man, the shit could sit in a vault and sit on the hard drive for so long, second guessing each other, because maybe you might have missed, or you may not have captured fully the feeling that you wanted to put on something. I'm saying when it's all ready and we are like all giving it the nod, when we're handing it, I mean, it matters who it lands at, and it matters how they receive it and all that. But we have successfully put something together that we are ready to share with the people. You know, it's been auditioned around our people. It's been auditioned around peeps like you, people that we know appreciate the art. So once it's all wrapped up, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling like, man, I can take whatever criticism comes from that. I can take whatever kind of conversation can be picked up from whatever track on that, because we put in what was meant to go into that, to represent what we feel like we're still about.
Okay. So does that differ from your idea of individual success? For you to be considered successful as an individual artist?
Yeah, because as individuals, we don't aspire towards the same thing all the way, you know? So as an individual, I could tell you what my success would be, but it may not be the same for my brothers here. But as a unit,
what is yours as an individual then? We get it all. I want all the juice, baby. We get both.
to be able to put my thoughts on wax as often as I get to, and you know, it's always been at the top of my mind to share my thoughts, and that was a long time ago. And when I put out my first project, that was me being brave. That was me breaking out of the shell now, and I have, for myself, successfully managed to capture phases of my life in my music all the way to the point that I'm at now. I have succeeded in doing that and remaining true to what got me started. And I feel at this very point, like, even if I had strayed, wherever I went, I picked up gems that brought me right back here to just continue adding to the classics we're putting in the pot.
So the mission, the goal, the everything sounds like it's a lot of like self-fulfilledness, right? It sounds like it's a lot of finding fulfillment from within. Okay. I fuck with that. I could definitely see what that is. So to you, as an entity and as an individual, you put no value on monetary gain, on influence over the culture, or let's leave it with those two. So those two things
follows. The rest definitely follows when you put out something that you've got your heart in.
That's not true. I wish that was true. That should be true.
Well, you asked for it's personal. This is how it's been happening for me. Not in leaps and bounds, but from the point I started sharing my thoughts in music, there's been a growth in audience, in
Okay.
the
So it does
distance.
matter. So that's what I'm saying. Like that stuff does matter.
Yeah, it matters. It matters, but what's more important?
Right. So where so there is there a balance, right? Is there a balance to where it's like there's enough reach that is being gotten, right? There's enough effort from a marketing standpoint that's going through versus I know I put the best thing. Like they said, like, yo, what Kiss say? There's somebody up north that was better than Jordan, but never got a shot. You know what I'm saying? Like what's the point? Like at what point is being the best irrelevant if nobody knows you the best? So my thing is like, number one, you're talking about like the self-fulfillment and creating something with my brothers and shit like that. I'm with that. I'm 100% in. I agree. I think that's super dope. But who misses out then is the culture, right? Who misses out are the people who really, really fuck with hip hop, who don't know you yet, who don't know that, man, the biggest Assembly fan in the world probably hasn't found y'all yet.
I like
Think
that.
about that,
Okay,
dog.
okay.
I like
Your number one fan probably doesn't even know you yet. Like that's crazy, dog.
That is crazy.
tough, son.
That is crazy.
Yeah. Tough.
So I think that I love the idea of perfecting yourself, of the self-fulfillment and everything like that. But as a fan, I want to get y'all in front of everybody, motherfucker. Like I'm not like, look, I like the hermit on the mountain, Wusa shit. Like I like all this, right? I just want more people to hear it. I want more people because you have to understand, dog.
I got you.
There has to be somebody with that type of integrity, with that type of love and passion for the game and hip hop, who also goes for the platform, who also goes for the marketing side of things. Because what ends up happening is like when you have these people who come on and they're like, man, hip hop's dead in X, Y, and Z. You know what I'm saying? Like this genre's coming over, blah, blah, blah. And the reason for that is they don't know that the Assembly is out there dropping one of the best fucking albums that you guys have ever fucking heard. Right? There has to be that give and take. So that's interesting. Cap, either of you guys want to chime in on the success individually versus a group thing?
I actually do because my individual wish for the success of the Assembly is very closely tied into what you're saying, Steve. I'm trying to get in front of as many people as possible playing the music. So I'm taking it around the world. You know, that's always been my dream. Like you'll even hear it in the raps, like fucking speaking that shit to life. You know, all the
Never
time,
stop until we literally rocking in Milan.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So that's a very real measure of success, wished upon measure of success for me, and worked towards measure of success.
I believe it too. You know? One of the things I love about, I think I've told you about this too. One of the things I love most about you is that you can see like hip hop has made its way into like other aspects of your life, like the shit you were doing with theater and stuff like that. And it's like the bigger that you get, the more kids that you can influence. You know what I'm saying? Like the more impact that you can have. And if it's people who are doing positive things like you are, that's like giving back to the youth and trying to like, you know, invest time and effort with these kids in arts and, you know what I'm saying? And theater and shit, like, dog, like those are the people that we want to see get platformed and shit like that. Right. So first of all, huge respect to you for everything you do. And I agree. I think that is important.
Yeah, no, most definitely. I mean, that ties back in with what Cap was saying, trying to like be a sort of guide as well for the next generation that share the same core and fundamental values. But it also addresses the monetary aspect because my dream doesn't happen unless
it's been funded either through you being paid or sponsored to go play there. Like, it won't work any other way. So let's just manifest that end goal, work towards that end goal. And like Mel says, the rest will take care of itself, because that's just how it works. So if you're touring, getting paid, just try and make it happen without. And if you're touring, you get in front of people, you're moving things, you're moving merch, you're moving music. More opportunities are waking up as people with ideas who are having ideas inspired by your artistic ideas, of suggesting collaborations on future projects, on interesting new things that you never would have thought of between the three of you or the four of you. What up, Yums?
Yo, what up, Yums?
So yeah, that's my individual ultimate dream, man.
In your opinion, do you think that you're doing everything that you can to maximize that?
Not even close. Not even close. I think Mel kind of touched on it, and it's like we're literally at the point where we're like, one thing that we can be very sure of is that we've got a good product, but now it needs to be handled right, because this needs, I mean, look at the work and the craftsmanship on that project, the people that are involved. What do you mean? There's a lot of, like, this the world deserves to hear it. The hip-hop loving world deserves to hear it, because we are hip-hop loving, we love to hear it. You know what I mean?
No, I'm in. I agree. Well, I'm with you fully on that.
What is taken care of. Clearly, all that we need is to get our fucking ducks in a row and get the help that we need. Because that's it. Like a platform like this, for example, someone might go, you know what? Fuck. I've got an idea.
You say. So on that, this be the last one. I don't mean to berate you on it. When you say what we need to do is get our ducks in a row, right, and get help with what we need, what does that mean specifically? Because that's another one of those phrases where, like, it doesn't say a lot, right? Like what are the ducks? Right. What are the expertise that you need? Like, if you were like, man, if I had somebody on my team right now who had like the fucking social media presence that Merkham's does, going and posting videos under every single fucking thing that anyone's ever done to get it out, like, is that what you need? Or is it like, nah, we need somebody? Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Like, who's the specialist? If you guys are watching this, you guys better reach the fuck out to them too. What specialist would bring the assembly to the next level? Because it's obviously not a rap coach, right? So, like, what are the aspects? What are the aspects that we need help with?
Steve, you mentioned that earlier. You're like, it's one of, like we spoke about it, like it's one of the weaknesses in your opinion, as far as how we move posts. And yes, absolutely right. It's marketing and media presence. So these are clearly aspects of what we're doing that we don't have the expertise that we need to be maximizing.
If I was to add to
products,
if I was to add to what Lebs is saying, we don't have somebody who's doing this full time. Like, we are part time. All of us are part time doing this. Like, we all have 9 to 5s. You feel me? Nyams even. You feel me? Nobody's dedicated to we are dedicated, right? But we're not like we're not like sitting there and like figuring this out on a day-to-day basis on how can we maximize, on every buck, every whatever. Like, we definitely are short of hands as far as that is concerned. That's what that expertise that H is alluding to. For instance, if we had somebody who does full-time management of the team, like somebody who's going to go plug us at events and things like that, those kinds of things, they count because they get you in front of people. And the more people you get in front of, the more people, the more likely that you're able to accrue people. You feel me? Because you know, we as far, you know, aside from just only being audio, we are a visual representation of work. You feel me? From what we do with the band, from what you see in us in terms of how we take our time and how we take our craft serious when we put together things like little videos and things like that. It's not just, oh, let's just stand over here and shoot it. No, it's we actually sit down and fucking like craft the shit.
Right.
Now that kind of thing can only get you so far if you don't have somebody up top who's pulling strings on some of these things. Like, yo, hold this. We got to definitely get you plugged in on MTV, or get you plugged in on VA. What's this, Trace or whatever. Nobody's fighting that. Nobody's fighting that fight for us. You feel me? Like, we'll submit it, but then it'll get rebuffed on the other end of the, because it's like, who's these niggas? Nobody's gonna go stand there and fight like
matter.
Yeah.
All right, let me ask you a question then, right? So this is painting. That's why I love these interviews. See, it starts painting the fuller picture. You know what I'm saying? Like it starts filling in some of the blanks that I think the
give you
super
the real,
fans have.
Steve. Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. So let me ask you this. I got this. This is let open to a whole can of worms of questions that I have about this, right? So, man, there's two things that come directly to my mind then, right? At some point in time, how you guys come off, and correct me if I'm wrong, this is all based on perception, right? But my opinion on the opinion that I think you guys would have on hearing a newer artist, right, is that old school mentality of like, this sounds nice, but like, he ain't really nice like that, right? Like, I feel like there's a lot of conversations that can happen between the three of y'all that's like, it's cool, like, he's cool, but he's not like one of them ones. You know what I mean? Like, he's not like, nah, he's all right. It's cool. I bob my head to it, but like, he's not making me run to the lab right now. Like, I don't gotta up my game, right? But that kid who does that is dedicated to this 24/7. And that kid who does this is putting 100% of everything that they have on the line. Where does your opinion fall on the who deserves what? Does it go to the legacy cats who are putting a fraction of effort into it, time-wise, right? Because you have loved ones, because you have families, because you have careers, because you have fucking illnesses. Mel spends half his time in the hospital. Because these things happen, is it still, yo, I can rap better, so I should be getting the praise that these kids are getting? Or at some point, is it like, nah, the work that they're putting in, even if I don't think it's the quality of work that we're putting in, they're still putting in the work every single day. So that's where the spotlight should be. What's your opinion on that, Doug?
Man, put in work and get yours. You know what I mean? Put in work and get yours. I'm not mad at cats that are getting it. You know what I mean? I'm not mad at cats that are actually able to focus their strengths and their energies into doing music and literally living off it and finding all the, man, that's you. That's your hustle. That's, if you got there and they're spinning you on rotation and shit, and you'd put everything on the table, sold some shit for this, bro, sis, get yours. You know what I mean?
So you fuck with that. You fuck with that.
I fuck with that hard. I'm sure the whole team fuck with that. I respect your hustle. I respect your hustle. Sometimes you like a person, but you don't like what they're hustling. But I see how you live. I see how you get it for your fam. You know, people on you're all attentive. You're all in, and you are getting yours. You know,
I love that.
I'd love to have the opportunity to do that because I really love this shit. It's just, thank the Lord that I love the shit that I do for a 9 to 5 too. You know what I mean? But if I had an opportunity to do it and just start making enough money to live month to month for my fam through gigs and little plugs that you know, hip hop is availing to us, I'd be all in, man. So if you found that, I'm looking at you and I'm tipping hats to you, waiting for the opportunity for one day when things align to be able to pursue my heart for at least a strong couple of years, you know what I mean? So I respect that. I respect the cats and the sisters that are out there plugged in, you know, because they pushed for that and they see
Work.
results.
I love that.
Always gotta respect the work, you know,
Hey,
and the work as well. Work. Always gotta respect the work, no matter if you like the product or not. Work is work, man.
yo,
Don't get
bro,
upset.
because you know how tough a time it is to get in that same lane, to be played on that same channel. You've tried, you've sent shit in, you've submitted, you've spoken to someone who knows someone who said they can get you written about. One or two went through, couple more didn't. And I see you consistently hitting the paper, consistently hitting the, you know, the hip hop magazines or blogs. I know what that took. I respect that. You know what I mean? You can't hate on that.
Exactly.
I have a similar conversation that I had that revolved around people like you guys see the type of shit that I like on the channel, right? So at some point when I was starting, someone was like, why don't you do like mumble rap and stuff like that? They get like hundreds of thousands of views, you go and do like a Playboy Cardi or something like that. And I remember I did it, and it was probably the worst thing I'd ever heard in my entire life. I wanted I have very good mental health. And for that 3 minutes and 21 seconds, I wanted to kill myself. And I remember thinking, no, look, this is my truth. I'm allowed to live my truth, right? Right. But this is what I walked away with. This is what I walked away with. You feel me? So like I'm sitting here and I'm like, man, this is my hell. This is like if I ever get caught doing any of the shit that I do, like this is my life. They're just gonna put me in a room and they're gonna play this on repeat. I say that to say this. My takeaway was that I wouldn't want to see this kid lose $1 out of his pocket, though. If this cat can get in front of a microphone and cough for 3 minutes and make $1 million off of it,
bro,
that's a kid who's not in the fucking hood anymore. That's a family who's not living fucking paycheck to paycheck. That's a whole generation that's inspired to say that they can do their own shit and they don't have to sound like the people before them to be successful and follow a blueprint. Like, dog, I walked away from it not liking it, but respecting what it was that it represented and what the culture does tend to represent. And one of the reasons, like I said earlier, like I want to see you guys with the positive messages and the work ethic and like the actual dedication to the craft get in front of people, because as much as that guy's going to inspire people to go fart and burp and cough in front of a fucking microphone, if you guys had that same fucking platform, there's going to be somebody out there in their fucking desk writing fucking, you know what I'm saying? Like you're going to inspire that fucking next generation of shit. So when you said that, like, yo, no, that's exactly what that reminded me of. I'm with you, Mel, 1,000% on that. Like it's kind of like does the ends justify the means? You know what I'm saying? Like if you get rich and famous and shit, is it worth it if all you did was mumble while you was up there? You feel me?
I think you actually, by saying that, you actually hit back to what the guy or the lady, whoever it is that gets up on that platform with that platform, uses that platform to uplift, I guess, people that are in his staff on some, either the security guy or his engineer or his DJ or whatever. That's the money. That's the bag. Everybody needs to be looking after this person. And 9 times I've actually noticed, or more often than not, that these youngins who end up doing the mumble rap or end up doing the newer age shit, stuff that we don't necessarily like sit and consume on a day-to-day basis, actually grew up on the most elite MCs that we know, and they actually are actually really good spitters when they go to these platforms like Sway in the Morning and they go to Funk Flex or whatever, or you find that they actually get up there and they actually rap. On more than one occasion, I've come across, you know, kids who we would take as I'd cool. He's out there doing the trendy shit. That's not what I, subscribe to. But then he'd get on a fucking song, a freestyle, and just do the unthinkable.
Just
and you'd be
get
like,
busy.
shit, yeah, like, oh shit, the kid can actually rap. But he's had to find in the space a way to generate income, and that doesn't come from a 100-mile-minute bar stretch. It's gonna definitely come from that itchy eye, yay.
All right, so let me ask you. No, you're right. Yeah, I'm with you 100%, Doug.
I mean,
would I be wrong to say that as a group between the three of you guys have infinitely more resources in the rap game than insert upcoming 18-year-old artist who's trying to pop off on TikTok? That's fair, right? You guys have the ins with Let's talk about it, right? Like, I know that you have the ins with the radio stations, you have the ins with the bloggers, you have the ins with the legends, you have fucking the engineers and shit like that, right? Like, you have the connections and shit.
Mhm.
Why not bite the bullet, right? And give in to some of the trendy stuff to get the other good shit out there? What is the reason that has or hasn't happened? And again, I don't know that one thing's right or one thing's wrong. I just want to know the reason why it hasn't happened yet. What has been the, if you guys are, everyone's saying we're cool with it. Everyone's like, nah, these kids who are doing this, they're smart, they're getting out the hood, they're changing their lives, they're getting the money to fund X, Y, and Z, right? It's not like you guys don't have your own ambitions. You guys want to do good shit for the culture and everything like that. Why we not got Cat with the little dance on the fucking TikTok joint, right? Like, why?
People are gonna see right through that, Steve. Like,
okay,
like, people are gonna see right through that, man. And like, I don't know, man. I like my integrity, and I know I'm speaking for the rest of these cats that I'm with. My integrity just wouldn't allow me to do that, man. Like, we're not gonna we can't pine to somebody whose attention we're not going to be able to keep. You feel me?
You have to do another dance next week. You feel
Well,
me?
you got to do another. Yeah. You know how fast this shit is moving in and out right now? People have 30 megabytes of data sitting at the fucking house right now. And all they do is download the one record on Spotify or whatever, and they'll sing about it, and it'll like snap your finger tomorrow, it'll be another motherfucker. So we gotta keep that pace up. I don't see that happening over here, man. Like, listen, like I said, we are in here like me, H, Mel, 9 to 5ers, man. We can't do this like these youngins. We can't be out here, Steve. We can't TikTok and all that.
Hold on, what? All right, so let's do this. Let's do this. All right. I'm gonna come at this from a different angle. I got a different angle. I just thought of something. This is off the cuff. All right. Don't you got a whole group of youngins that you bringing up, my guy? Where they at?
If you hear those youngins, you'll understand what we're talking about.
Well, see, that's my point, right? So, like, look, at what point are you going to negatively influence the newer generation because now they're too cool to go and hop on the current trends and shit like that and pop off? They should be doing the social media for you, not the other way around. Like, dog, my 6-year-old son can work my phone better than I ever could. He be finding filters and shit that I don't even know. But you see what I'm saying? Like, you guys have the culture to tap into. You know what I'm saying? Like, the culture is at your fingertips. And if you don't know the person directly that could do it, you know the person that knows the person that could do it, right? Get the young bulls to do the social media shit. Where's Vaughn? Yo, get Vaughn to do a dance. Get him to do a dance.
Bond ain't
Get Bond
dancing
to
on
do
that
it.
fucking-
If you can get Bond to do a dance, everybody else will do a dance the next week. You have everybody doing that dance the next week.
Do your dance, Bond. Go on, do your dance.
Yo,
Dance, Bond. Go on,
man.
do your dance.
Amazing. That's just my thoughts. What the fuck do I know? I'm just a reactor. I just all right. So refocus. Orientation comes out October 17th, 2022. It's been 7 years since the last group project. But as they've gone out of their way to really point out to me, that does not mean that they have been stagnant for the last 7 years. All right. Let's talk about this. Just let's update. What does the body of work look like? What work has been put in between the first drop and the second drop that's not under the assembly? Like individual projects, like and shit like that.
How many projects or what?
No, just like what have you guys been getting busy with for the last 7 years? That's what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Like they're gonna want to come and find y'all, but because of what I'm saying, it's not under the assembly ZA. If they put that in YouTube or something like that, you know what I'm saying? How do they go and get more music from y'all if there's no centralized hub to find everything?
I got busy with some projects. We started a group in that time. Mongameli, 5 Mute. He and I now go by Project Mayhem.
Shout out to Project Mayhem. Amazing project. Please check that shit out. Reactions on the channel. I didn't mean to cut you off, my guy. I like that shit. I came back. I put my brother onto that shit. He was fucking DJing that shit at fucking parties last summer. Like that shit was.
Yeah. So we dropped 2 EPs and a full-length LP. We did a little something on the side, but all the while, on tracks on whatever project I dropped in between there's more than not always an assembly track in there. So on the Project Mayhem, we've got an assembly track. I dropped something with Tone Spliff, there's an assembly track. I dropped something with DJ Views, there's an assembly track. So as much as we haven't been seen in the same space, we've been scattered and still coming together to drop them things. I mean, all the shit that we did in between could be a little EP on its own. You realize?
Do y'all got like a word is bond kind of thing? Because like, I don't believe there's no label involved, right? So like, there's no issues if you want to go and have another rap group or something like that, or get featured in something. There's no legality or nothing like that that gets in between them.
Nah. We broke off from the School of Hip Hop collective to do this because that's just how we work. Even within the School of Hip Hop, we got other cats that grouped up to create other little small groups. You know what I mean? So it's all love. It's all love. We come from that.
Yeah, I mean, in 2018, no, I'm bullshitting. 2020, I dropped my project, my solo project, but I had been working on it, you know, for I guess during the interim, ever since we dropped the Inspection EP. Even prior to that, I had been working on that. I took a bit of a hit in 2018 when I lost my brother. Rest in peace, the late great Lyndon Kizi. He was co-producing that, and yeah, that kind of deflated, my sales a little bit, and I had to go back and refocus. There's some tracks in there that I had to go and essentially redo. There was some new joints that came in. The assembly is also on that album as well. So as we were operating in that time frame. It wasn't like we were just stagnating. I mean, so yeah. I know H has also been working. He's been recording.
Sure.
I mean, so we've been busy, Steve. You know what I mean?
I like it. All right. So I'm gonna hit y'all with a hard question. I'm gonna hit y'all with a rough one. All right. Then we're gonna get into the difference in the creation between the first and second group project. All right. Here's my question. We talked a lot about the impact individuals have, about the marketing of it, so on and so forth. What will the assembly's impact be when all is said and done? What will you have done for the culture? What do you hope will be the contribution that would allow another artist to want to feature you on the cover of their project in the same way you featured those who have inspired you?
Hey, Joe.
Hey, Joe. Talk to him, dog.
Come on with it.
Look, this is what happens. Y'all want to go to PQ first? You want to go to speaker first? I ain't had no fucking easy questions left for me.
I knew this was, yeah, I knew this was
Man, I opened up a philosophy book and I was like, what's Plato think about this shit? Because we gonna really yeah.
Yo.
You rap, therefore you are. Let's go. I want to hear about it.
Okay. All right.
Look, next year I'm gonna get the first interview. Watch. They started. They'll be like, what was the vibe when you guys were in there?
He's a fool, dog.
Man, what is the assembly, or what will, when all is said and done, ideally, what will the assembly's contribution to either SA hip hop as a whole, how you guys view it in general, if things go according to plan, what will your contribution be?
So I think at the most fundamental in terms of
beginning thoughts, like our first thoughts, putting School of Hip Hop together, getting together as rappers, realizing that we have a shared philosophy. At the heart of that was always a need to do for
the Free State and for Malcolm and our home, to do for them what prophets of the
city did for Cape Town. Fucking those guys made the cover of the stores.
Like that's proper. If we could put our home on the map and kind of influence a school of thought, or at least trigger the school of thought. You don't put thoughts in anybody's head, but you can inspire them to get those thoughts going. So that, I think, that is something that you talked about it earlier with the children of the court. They are
living examples of that legacy / success, and not because we put it on them. Like your logos, like he'll say it out. He's telling us, like, yo, this is what you guys have done.
You inspired a generation. This is all because of you guys did what you did. As fucking an unknown entity, you think the assembly is unknown? The School of Hip Hop stuff is even
rarer to find people with,
Right.
So yeah, I think
that's definitely something. So if those kids, as you say, being still in the TikTok generation and understanding the ways to exploit and be more open and understanding the ways to exploit these things better, seeing those kids succeed where we
currently have succeeded. We still wishing on that. You know what I mean? Been able to have the music sustain. You've been able to be out there sharing it with the world. That's your shit. That's what people see you doing. That's what everybody does. You know, that's it.
Got you.
Yeah, that's that. Seeing those kids do that shit. Yeah, yeah. I mean, we still going to the world, man, but
see them go to the world, and that will be legacy seal, I think.
Touch the world, but touch the streets first.
I'm with it. Look, Cap went full Call of Duty on us. I like this. Look at this. He went.
Oh shit! I think it's sounded.
He went full gamer on us. Look.
Duty set. So the duty set. So the duty set time. I saw that. What up, duty set?
All right. While we're on the topic then of the impact and influence of the culture, I kind of told them I was going to do this ahead of time. I want to talk about the album cover. The album cover is very powerful. It's one of those things like I know it's super cheesy, but they say like a picture's worth 1,000 words type thing, right? I feel like we could have an entire discussion just about the emotions, the thought process that went into the selection of the cover work for the new project, right? I want you to just tell me about someone that you nominated or you decided or you were part of, right? Like why this person is on the cover and the impact that they had on the culture for you that made you feel like they deserve to be there. What did they do that earned them the place on that cover, in your opinion?
Man, Mischief for me personally. Because he was out here a long while ago. Him being from Zimbabwe, where I'm from, he's always been a big deal to me. We watched him do things at home and watched him leave home to come out here and make a big deal of himself and be part of the engine from the jump to be considered a pioneer out here, you know. He became large to us and he's one of my inspirations personally to where I picked up the pen and carried on. So in my own, I guess in my own space and energy, I wanted to achieve something similar in putting us, like Lebu was saying, putting our spot on the map. And in putting Mischief up there, it was to recognize that he started off an entire generation of MCs back home, and not just pioneering that, he became a part of the engine out here that was making it work from the jump. So it was just, for me, it wasn't even, we didn't even have to think twice about that. That's
So
my dude.
That's dope. So that's kind of like what you guys were talking about, like what your contribution is going to be, is like representing where you come from and stuff like that.
Yeah, he
Showing
managed
people,
to do that shit.
That's dope. I just had one. I had a really dope interview with a Nigerian artist, Jesse Abaga, Jesse Jags.
Jesse Jags.
And he had a whole segment that we did on like how important it is, like how he walks around Joe's in Nigeria like a celebrity, and they look like, yo, like that's our guy, like he's from where we're from, he made it, like, and now you all like that's all it takes, really, you know what I'm saying? Like somebody to move and inspire the people around them, is to be like, yo, someone that looks like me, sounds like me, is from where I'm from, you know what I'm saying? Like, shout out to him. That's dope.
Full inspiration. Yeah.
Respect.
That's so shit.
Who you got?
No cap.
Yo,
who
it's
you
me?
who you put up on that cover? Who you put up on that cover?
Y'all can hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry about that. The headphones died on me.
I just know his gamer tag's crazy. Look at like
up there, man. I mean, I definitely, I'm gonna have to say Lindom's. Man, the guy was more than I mean, before he became who he became for me, like he was larger than life. You know, that's the one guy that I felt like, damn, if I ever wanted to um like jump in this full throttle, that's got to be the guy who's gonna whose tutelage I need to be up under, like, because I saw how he moved. He was not really as big as he was. That guy was in the hood all day. Like he really was like the people's person, and I love that about him. I'd be around him. Like the only reason why I think I'm known as well as I am in Soweto is because of that cat. Like he made it clear to people that, yo, this is my youngin. He's good out here. You know what I mean? And he had like, like earned that respect from the people. He didn't go out there and expect it. He had earned that respect. So now this is not me just talking about Linda the person, but him the artist. Like I just looked up to him in like the circumstances where he came from. Like for the longest time, hip hop here was predominantly like English. Like if you were gonna be on a label like I think Gallo started snapping up youngins, I'm forgetting this one label that used to actually be out here, but it was predominantly the English spitting rappers. We started coming in. I remember hearing the Motherload tape for the first time. I think I might have been with you, or we might have been in the same sort of vicinity. The Shorty Locos and whatnot, Amu and those cats were JSEC was they were rapping predominantly in English, right? When Linda came in, he was a paradigm shift. We had to realign. The whole fucking car had to change direction. Because I remember cats like Amu and them like, yo, we are not rapping after this kid. The fuck you mean? Sugar Smacks and like these were cats who were established in the game. These were strong household names. Squatter Camp was these were household names. And when he did what he did, like in 06, I remember like the bubbling under before he even got signed. Like it was him rapping and absolutely battling and destroying people in front of live crowd. It was insane what he was doing, right? And when the album finally came out, it was just like, holy shit, yeah, we in some shit now. Like now we've got to rethink how the hell we're gonna do this, because we're no longer gonna rap about this with this accent and it's gonna sound cool, because now people are seeing clean through this. People want that authentic, and he was that guy. He was that guy. You can ask though, when the album came out in 06, it was over. We had to rethink the whole thing. And I was right there, man. I was right there, like in the front row, like, bro, this guy is insane. This guy is incredible. How does he put words together like this? Like, how does he figure this out? And I just wanted to do that, I just wanted to be around him, under like near him, to get that kind of energy to rub off, And I'm gonna jump a few years and whatnot, but when the man like had done his time and he sold multi-million rands and what have you worth of records, he reached out to me on some, yo, I like what you're doing. I want you to come to my label. And for me, bro, having had like followed the guy's career, it was almost like my chaining day. It was almost that. Like he solidified that for me in terms of like, shit, hey, this guy, man, this is like, if he he doesn't have to be doing. He doesn't have to, like, I'm like I'm a lyricist who I wouldn't have put myself under his label like off rip, but he was such a student of the game that he came looking for somebody like me because I was doing the technical shit. I was, you know, on that tip.
Right.
My whole trajectory's been that. And when he came looking for that from me, I was just like, yo, damn, like this is like, as I said, this was my chaining day. And that guy really made me take this shit seriously on another level. And like his and I want to go back to his impact on the culture, and this is why I exalt him on that level. Like there was a paradigm shift in 06, bro, and that's the guy who sparked that. In 06 was the way we changed everything that we were doing and how we approached hip hop and how hip hop business was done. The man had a shoe. He had a fucking shoe. Like, fuck, you know, like so like many. Yeah, sorry, H. You're saying?
Now I was laughing. My bad.
Yeah, so there was those kinds of things, like how business minded he was, and just like his just human aspect, man. It was just, for me, he definitely, I felt like it's not even like a question. That man has to be up there for everything that he gave hip hop, South African hip hop culture. Today, there's 1,000,001 kids who rap and want to sound like Linda. Like it's crazy. It's crazy. It's insane. But you understand it because if you listen to that man's from the first album, like how much he meant to the people, to the soil, you know, he was different, man. Like,
when we first talked, I asked you a question, and the question, well, this is my first time hearing you go off about pro, and it's always so inspiring when you do, right? It's always like, I always say this too, like I get like for the channel, the growth and everything, like I'm a fan first, dog. Like before anything, dog, like I am the biggest fan of rap, just in general. Like I like to get busy, like, you know what I'm saying? When I first talked to you, I asked you a question, and I said, Cap, you're going off about how you're known as pro's guy, and I asked you, I said, does that bother you to feel like you may be in the shadow of somebody? You know what I'm saying? That you had that handout and that leg up. And you told me then and there, with the biggest, most genuine smile I ever seen on another person's face. And you was like, if I'm known as that and that's my title, that's my claim to fame, I'm cool with it. Like that's lit. Like I'm in. Like that's fine. I think that for me, that was one of the core moments, memory moments that I have of you, like we have of each other, where it's like when someone says or does something and there's something that helps you define who that person is to you in your head for the rest of your life. You know what I mean? And I feel like that was one of those moments, like, because like especially in hip hop, dog, ego and image tend to, you feel me? Like, bro, people would fucking drop a diss track on their idol who saved their fucking life if it meant that they got another 1,000 clicks that week. You feel me? So like, I get it, and I respect that. I love that about you. Let me ask you. Let me give you 2 follow-up questions. All right. The first one, I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna put it on you. How do you think pro would look at your career and what you've managed to do from then until now? Do you feel as though he will be proud of you and how you've developed and where you've come? In your own opinion, as someone who knows him obviously more than any of us, when you reflect at night, when you're looking at where you're at and stuff like that, I look, dog, when your face lights up when you talk about this guy, and it's like, I wish I got to know. I wish, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I talk about Stove. When I start talking about fucking Stove to my friends and shit, I look like I fucking kid on Christmas. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I get. So I know those types of relationships and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know what that's like. How do you feel internally about the work that you've put in and shit and where you're at?
I think me personally, I feel I feel like I did enough because look, as I said, like he's co-producer on my album, even in his passing. He actually, was hands-on in terms of like right, in terms of we're gonna take this beat and we're gonna approach it in this fashion. I don't like that you went over there with this. Can you change and change direction and go this way with it? I want you to rap on this. I want you to really rap on this. Those kinds of things. Like his hand is all over that project, all over that project. Even in his absence, I'd love to believe that he is proud of what I eventually put out and what it went on to do. Because his vision for me was like, yo, Cap, like I really just want people to hear you rap, dog. Like you one of the nicest cats like I've ever heard. This is his words to me. And this is coming from a guy who I fucking idolize. He would call me at the most ungodly hours of the night just to rap my bars to me and then fucking hang up on me. That's that kind of relationship. That's the kind of relationship I had with that cat, And and like him telling me that, yo, Cap, like I just want people to hear you rap. Wherever we go, wherever we wherever shows, whatever we at, I just want people to hear you rap, and because I think they'll get it if you do. They'll get it if you do. They'll get it if you rap, And you know what serendipity is? When COVID hit in 2020, I had just dropped the project and I was, gearing up to do this whole full run campaign and, and do launches and what have you. COVID hit. It's like, nah, sit the fuck down. Level fucking 5 and this and that. Right. We had to chill out. But my music ended up on a show producer's desk. I don't know fucking how. I don't know how. It ended up on a show producer's desk. And yo. You all right?
I'm starting to get quiet.
Oh, all right, cool. So my music ended up on a show producer's desk, and the fucking pretty much the whole album ended up on primetime television, and that in its own was a W, right? I further add to what I'm saying by each and every other night when I'm sitting watching the show. This was, a show that fucking my mother-in-law and everybody else, they sit and watch this show. It's fucking it's a big fucking show, massive, dope storyline, and still running to this day. I would get texts from from notifications like, yo, your song's being Shazammed, fucking, and then I'd laugh to myself, I'd chuckle to myself, because I'd be like, yo, Linda, chill out, bro. This is all you ever wanted, for me, like just to be heard, and people when they hear something which is dope, if they like it, they don't care who's rapping or who's singing. They're gonna go find the music on these music recognition apps, and there you go. You got a new follower, like right there. Somebody's copped your album just from listening to it on snippets of it on the show. And and that's that thing where I'm saying, like, this guy really just wanted me out there, and I would love to believe that by that he's, you know, he's like looking down on me like, all right, word. Yeah, you did your thing, you know, with this. Like we this is what we wanted. We wanted when we started putting this album together, this is what we wanted. We wanted you to get out there and get heard. And the music is like gone far and wide because of that, you know. So yeah, that's what that serendipity is, man. You know, I think I believe he will have been proud of me. I love to believe that.
I love it. I love it.
Word.
Weird, hard question that's a follow-up to that. Just because I feel like no one's ever asked this question before. I feel like this is a good, this is not gonna be an easy one on you, my guy.
Yeah.
In a situation like you have, where you have a relationship with an artist who's no longer with us, rest in power, my guy.
Yeah.
Is it possible in hip hop to surpass people in our own opinions, right? Who are no longer like, is there ever going to be a time in your life where you feel as though you have surpassed Pro in your mind? Like, is it possible? Like, do you get what I'm saying? Like, when there's a couple things that go into play here, right? You have the Biggie said it the best. You're nobody till somebody kills you, right? You have somebody who has 100 listeners on Thursday, they get shot, and on Friday they're being called a legend online. You know what I'm saying? Like, you
Yeah.
have that type of scenario, and then you have
Yeah.
like the scenario where you do have like a legend that is passed, someone who was pivotal in moving the culture at some point. In
Yeah.
your heart, are you ever able to say, my pen has now surpassed this person who's no longer with us? Or is part of homage and part of paying respects and part of being cut from that cloth that the reason that question has never been asked is because that question just doesn't get asked? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not a conversation to be had, regardless if there's truth or not to it.
Fuck. I think 97, right? 97. Might have been 97. We lost Big, right? Big was the biggest fucking East, like New York rapper there was. Who his, you know, I would say not his entourage, but he had you know, like a strong team around him, you know, the Junior Mafias, Jay-Z being one of them. And Jay-Z essentially was, I guess, his right-hand man. Did we think that the man would ever surpass him after he released Volume 1? This was now shortly after he passed, right? Shortly after Big passed, Jay releases Volume 1. It tanks. Like it doesn't do, like, you know, like it doesn't go on to do like an amazing, successful, you know, impact, whatever. But on Volume 2, he does better. Volume 3, nah. Dynasty, this is now him still, as we are going along, him building that empire, that Rockefeller empire. We get the Dynasty. The man goes on to do Blueprint, Black Album. These are all fantastic. And he even says on Blueprint, if I ain't better than Big, this is now right at the time when I guess he's starting to feel himself. What is his? He's going at everybody for the crown. Nas is getting it. Yeah, you know, the mob is getting it. Everybody's getting. Jay's on that. He's feeling like he's feeling like he's that guy right now that everybody needs to see for the King of New York title. He goes on to say, if I ain't better than Big, I'm the closest one. That's a feeling he had, right? He was feeling like, right, but I mean, I see everybody's success, but like it's gotta be me. It's gotta be me. I don't know if I'll ever feel like that with me compared to Mlindom's, because I feel like that guy has done like far too much shit to that would that if I ever did anything that would eclipse that. We rapping the way we rapping today is because the nigga put in work. Rapping today the way I'm rapping is because of what he did in back when he did it. I'm never gonna sit on camera and be like, nah, I'm better. Nah, fuck all that. Like, I know I was around that guy. I was right next to him when he was recording an 8-minute freestyle, which was chopped down to a 6. I can never fucking do that. Fuck that. Like, he was built that way. He was built that way.
How do you or will you deal with the comments that come when the fans start telling you, nah, I know that's your guy, but nah, Cap, you don't understand. I listened to the album and they wasn't doing nothing like that back then. And but like, how do you react to that?
I know, Steve, man.
You don't deal with compliments well, period. So I can I can already tell, like, this is like your kryptonite.
No. That is a fact. I really, I really like. It's difficult to sit there but I honestly, that kind of talk comes around, man. I don't, in my head, I wouldn't believe it, man. Like, there's no way in my mind that it could fit. There's just no way. Like, that guy's colossal to me. Like, I'm great. I'm a fucking fantastic MC. I know that. But that nigga, he was way up there, like, way up there. That's big.
Last question on this, and then we're gonna tap in with Lieber while he's in the Blair Witch Project down here. We're trying to have an interview. My guy's in the woods somewhere right now, just talking about. Can you hear me? Good. Like, what? Jesus Christ. All right. This is kind of left field, but not really, just while we're on that topic, right? How do you feel about Touchline? What is your relationship with Touchline? Because a lot of the conversation around Touch, he derives a lot of his influence from, you know what I'm saying, from Linda, and like, a lot of people have said, like, he's the next Pro Kid, you know what I'm saying? Like, he gets like he's made in Pro Kid's image, things like that. Are a lot of the comments that I see about Touch. As someone who was that close with Pro and shit like that, does this make you feel anything positive, negative, or you just dope to see his influence getting out there? Like, is there any type of emotion that's spurred?
Yeah, look, I love to see you know, things like that happen. I know how much it means for him because I know how much he loved, you know, Pro. I think it's also too much pressure to put on him, man. Like, if you give him, if you put that title on him like that, it's a lot of pressure that comes with that. Like, you've got to consider, he's obtaining a name and a legacy which has already been built, and foundations are standing, the walls are up, the roof is, you know, and it's a fucking fantastic mansion. It's a you know, it's on a sprawling, you know, 100-acre field, and it on this house has got to be maintained. You inherit something like that, shit comes with fucking rates and taxes. It comes with, you know, the light bill. It comes with the water bill. It comes with a lot. It's too much pressure to put on him like that, and expect him to get in there and just, you know, like, thug it out on the level that Linda was doing. I love that for him. I love that the fact that you know, the audience can identify and be like, all right, cool. Okay, Shab, we lost the icon, but at least we can sit and listen to Touch, and, you know, get whatever we were missing on that level. But that doesn't necessarily, put you like on that level. It doesn't necessarily, because he's got a lot to do still, I feel.
Right. I feel you.
He's an incredible MC. Love the kid, good kid, like good heart, strong. He's a strong dude.
I do think, just to chime in on that, I do think that it is, I would say like 95% of it is fans putting it on him. And like anything that I've ever heard from Such has always been more like inspired by, not as great as. You feel me? Like that's always been,
there you
that's
go.
always
Yeah, there
been
you go.
how I've heard him
there you go.
go about those conversations.
go.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you go. That's it right there.
Cool.
That's it right
All
there.
right, let's go to the woods real quick. Hold on. Yo, I had to mute you. We thought you was getting stuck up or something in the middle of the interview. I had to mute you real quick. I was like, this is prime.
When you did that, I kind of like nodded to thank you. I wasn't agreeing because I was too close to an establishment, so people are starting to get around.
Oh shit, we're losing them. We're losing them.
Yeah.
Where you're cutting.
All right. I'm trying to mute him. All right, he's back to being muted until his thing goes. We'll touch back in with him when he gets to civilization.
Yeah, he's got to move around a bit. He can't be where he's at. Man. I don't know where.
Yeah.
How you doing?
How we doing?
You're better now. You're better.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Stay right there, man.
Hi.
Yeah. Interviews. So who's your pick? Who's your pick for the album cover? Who's your pick for the album cover? And your words, what was their contribution to the culture that made them deserve that spot?
Look, as much as I discovered them around the same time and could wax lyrical about either Zubs or Doomy, it has to be Stoke. Yeah. How you say that you're a fan first of rap. I honestly believe that if you're a fan first of rap, you're a fan of Doomy.
Let's go.
You know what I mean? So that's the level that I connected with. I was like, shit, this person's writing though, like the way this man's way with words, and it was always, I know Cap had a similar thing with Bro Ware and Mel even actually with Zubs, that it was one of the artists that we always had the benchmark. It's like if that person can hear one of my verses and go, yo, that is a fucking dope verse, then I'm doing something right. So to me was always that for me from day one, and for good reason. I think now more than ever, people that didn't see it before. The core conversation of the front of the interview, that he wasn't out to as many people as he could have been when we already knew that's what time it was, But things like going on to Sway and having, the international fucking hyenas den, the Valley of the Hyenas, and fucking killing shit out there. That's, he's out there fucking battle rapping, like, he's about the culture, you know what I mean? And at the highest level, like in his words, we
go, baby.
So he's done what he's done, man. It's undisputable. It's not debatable. Even when you hate him, you can't deny what he's done. And yeah, he would have been on the cover if we'd made that cover when I was fucking 18, and it's just stayed that way,
That's a
They
fire
all-
statement. He'd say he'd have still been on the cover if we made the cover when I was 18.
Yeah.
That's real shit.
That's fire. All right, look. So homage is obviously a big theme for the album, right? Is that seen throughout the album lyrically and the content and in the motifs as far as the actual meat and potatoes of the message goes? Or is that something that's more displayed just through the artwork?
I
Man
say
said
each of
motif.
right. Each of those individuals on that stage put in a little bit into the MCs that are here right now. That entire album is laced with those guys, notes of those guys, whether in flow or in content or in approach to your, you know what I mean? If it's your cadence, they are in there. They're weaved within the MCs. It couldn't have been this way without those MCs on stage. So they are on all
Early.
tracks. If
Real
you're looking
early.
to find, there's going to be no mimicking someone or trying to flow like someone. They've already injected the stuff. So, bro, it's all throughout the project in that sense.
Let's go. All right. We talked about this a little bit, and I feel like we've already kind of hinted on this too, in terms of the homage. But it's a good hip hop conversation, so I wanted to like turn it to you guys, right? One of the things in hip hop that honestly is I've never talked about this. It's one of the things that piss me off, and is that in hip hop, a lot of the times you are judged based on the assumption that every fan of hip hop has infinite knowledge of every artist that has ever existed and every verse that has ever been written by every artist from the time of fucking Memoriam to the shit that dropped last Friday, right? Libo, I'm going to mute you one more time because the wind is going crazy on you, my guy. I don't want him to think it's personal. That's like not letting you know. You gotta chill out, my guy. You decided to have a picnic while we're doing the interview. You gotta be muted when you ain't talking. I'm like, yo, I'm trying to get my career together and compete with PQ, and he's like, this is a great time for a nature walk. What? That's white people like hiking, right? He'll think this is right at. All right, so in terms of paying homage, in terms of like knowing everything that came before you and like, oh, you ain't a fan of hip hop, you can't tell me what Biggie said on Thursday the 13th of, you know what I'm saying? Like, at what point, like, homage is a big deal. At no point would I ever suggest not giving credit, giving the head nod to those that come before you, right? Especially those who specifically influence you directly, right? But that does lead to weird things in the culture. We've had, newer cats disrespect Nas on multiple occasions and things like that, right? Like that, like it goes both ways. You have the people who are either like, yo, you have to know fucking everything, or you have the people who are so ignorant that they don't even understand the impact of the shit that comes out of their mouth when they mention certain people and what they've done for the culture. You feel me? Like I feel like it's polarized. It's usually like one way or the other. Where does that fall with you? Like, at what point is there a point where it's no longer going to be relevant to know who those individuals on the cover of that album are? And what would that point look like?
Hey, yo,
you thought it was gonna be easy over here, my guy? Nah.
Yo, listen, man. This is what it's supposed to be, Steve. You feel me? Yeah, these are the kind of hip hop conversations that we have on, love to have on the regular, and we have these, in our own little corners. It's important. And if we can do this on platforms like yours, shit, bro, like let's fucking go. You know what I mean? But I think it is, just as important as it is to keep record of like when the fucking Jan van Riebeck and them came and fucked us up over here, we need to know like where it went wrong so that we never fucking, end up in the place where we're like, God damn, man, like, okay, how, we find ourselves like lost, like informationless. It's important to keep track of these things. Like we have to constantly remember it's fucking Herc's hands that started this whole shit. We have to remember that shit. Like
Forever.
like forever, like forever. As long as you're eating with your team somewhere in the corner, you gotta understand that there was people who went through hell for you to be able to do this. People got stiffed, people got robbed, people got like it wasn't sweet, bro. Here we go.
Okay, there we go.
There's a weird 2-second clip out there. Lebo says his phone's about to be dying.
Oh snap!
I think.
Yeah.
All right, my bad. I didn't mean to cut you off. That whole thing just everything. 15 things just started popping up at once. I was like, hold up, what's going on? Now what's that? All right, so you're saying there's never going to be a time where understanding the roots is irrelevant.
There'll never be a time, because the minute we start doing that, man, we start acting crazy. Like we start you know, we forget easily that yo, man, this thing that we've built, or this thing that is able to make sure that our families eat, that there's roofs over our heads, and you know, a business is built on this, comes from, you know, the blood, sweat, and blood, like literal blood, sweat, and tears of people. People died getting this shit up off the ground. Like, it's imperative to. Do
you think that that's not a lot to put on a kid who's 16 and is using his pen to deal with his emotions the way that we did when we were 16, and using poetry to work out all the shit that was inside of us and try to deal with the things that we seen day to day? Like, you, like, eventually, like, that at one point that was knowing 8 people, and then at some point that was knowing 16 people and 16 different albums, and at some point that became 1,000 different rappers who contributed to hip-hop scenes in 1,000 different countries with their own origin stories, their own legends that passed, their own, you know what I'm saying? Like, then you got local legends. Like, you got to know, like, I'm from Philly. You got to know the history, you know what I'm saying, of where you're from specifically, that the rest of the world don't even know. That's not important to know, because you're going to get tested on that. As soon as I say I'm from Philly, the first thing out of people's mouth is going to be, oh, you from Philly. Oh, you know, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the way those conversations go. Like, don't matter where you're from. Do you not think that it's unfair? At what point does it become unfair to look at a new artist and say, if you're going to claim to be a rapper, you're going to claim to be cut from this cloth, you also have to know all 152 fucking Pokemon that came before you? Like, I don't know. Like, it feels like when is it unreasonable? And what, you know what I'm saying? Or is it like, nah, you got to know about Hurt. No, you got to know about Big. No, you got, you know what I'm saying? Like, is it just like, there's only the 12 that you need? Like, what is it? When does it become unfair?
It'll reflect in your content.
Hold on, leave it. Let me unmute him.
Hold on, I got you.
Let's try. How's the wind?
You're good right now. You're good right now.
How's the wind? Okay, cool. No, I'm saying, while I'm on my 10%, I think it's already unfair. It's already unfair. They should be held accountable to. Or the fucking ultimate test that they should have is to just have taken the basics from all those legends, because they all have a common thread that runs through all of them. You know, rhythm and poetry, for one. Like, if you're gonna do anything out of that, then it's fine. Nobody's got anything against you, but just don't call it rap then, if it doesn't have at least rhythm or at least poetry. We're even going lenient now. Fuck. You know, we'll leave out the end, but, like, you know, have some kind of respect for those fundamentals. You don't have to know who represents them. I really don't think. I personally listen to people going, yo, if you haven't heard this album, you're not a fan of hip hop. I'm like, fuck, I'm really not a fan of hip hop. I think that all the time. I'm like, you know what I mean? So
you got me.
it's just like fucking imposter syndrome. I live by that shit in hip hop. Like, For real, no joke. So that's why I support it so strongly. That's why I had to talk. Like it's already unfair. You know, I don't fucking know them, man.
So I always thought, just not that anyone gives a fuck about my opinion, but I'm gonna give it anyway. So like, while on these topics, I think that it should be at least understand who influenced you, know their story, and who influenced them. I think you should be responsible for knowing the generation of music that you listen to and to understand who influenced them, so that you never find yourself disrespecting somebody that directly influenced the people that you know what I'm saying, that you're involved with, that you enjoy. Is that the right answer? I have no idea. That's why we're talking about it. I don't know what the right answer is.
I guess there is no right answer, man. You know what I mean, it's gonna come down to those opinions form. You know, but I like what you're proposing. You know, like the fact that you could probably just look at your tree, your branch, your lineage, you know, and see where your influences came from, and see how far that rabbit hole takes you. But I mean, with me, I feel as though I definitely have to get as much of this as possible, not just from a rapping perspective, but who the B-boys were, like which crews were battling. It's like that stuff for me, like because I'm so ingrained and you know, consumed by this thing, this culture. I need to know where each and every one of these pillars stand, so I can know where to park under the building. You feel me? And chill. And you know, I really feel like that's important to me as a disciple. It's imperative to me. You know what I mean? Because I came in on Snoop. I came in on Nas and Biggie, but I found out quickly that Nas was inspired by a guy called Rakim. Okay, who's Rakim? Let me go find out. Did research on Rakim, and I found, you know, more jewels and this, and you know, like that kind of shit. That was my path.
I want to give you a very weird outside perspective that I feel like I'm uniquely qualified to do. All right. I think, for those of you who don't know, I'm American, and I happen to dabble in the hip hop scenes in a lot of different countries. And something that, as someone who has observed the cultures in multiple scenarios from the bottom up and stuff like that, my guy, Lebo, I appreciate you coming, my guy. You catch the rest on the youtube.com/SteveBussaGS. You know what it is, my guy.
Of course. GSGang, you know what time it is.
All right. For the next 30 minutes, we're just talking shit on Lebo. You ready? That's
my nigga.
Fuck, what was I saying? I lost track of what I was saying.
You were like from an observer's perspective on like many.
So right from the outside looking in.
Yeah.
If I were to just use observe and say hip hop in America, hip hop in South Africa, hip hop in Nigeria, hip hop in Ghana, just right off the bat, right? If I just look at them, I believe one of the issues with the reason that hip hop is not as big in these other countries, and there's a lot, there's no right answer or wrong answer. There's a lot of contributing factors that lead to what the most popular versus non-popular genres are. But one thing that I do know is that level of gatekeeping and that level of perceived knowledge that you have to call yourself a fan of the genre only exist in hip hop. And I think like no one has ever put on a Katy Perry song and was like, I like this. And someone was like, but do you know Madonna's greatest hits from, you know what I'm saying? Like,
but the rock cats do that. Rock, the real rock cats.
Where's Rock at now, my guy? You're making my point for me. What's the last Guns N' Roses concert you went to?
Yeah.
This is my point. That level of gatekeeping, that level of not everybody is welcome, right? Has its ups and downs. Because number one, do you want everybody in the culture? Do you want hip hop to just be the new pop? No, of course not. But what does come with that is that's a lot more families fed. That's a lot more people who are super fucking talented that are gonna get those looks and change the lives of them and the people that are fucking closest to them and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like for you, like if I'm in SA right now, right, and then and I have the culture that is collectively working to limit my audience and how I get fed. How is that benefiting me? Just because the 1,000 people who are here, though, they know where it started. That's way more beneficial to me than having a million people who may not have a fucking clue who started it, but they like the shit that they're hearing now and they're rocking with it right now. And now my family gets to eat tonight.
Yeah, man, it's that gatekeeping shit, Steve, man. It's a story that has always been like just grated my gnats from day one, because I've seen it firsthand. You feel me? Seen how people stand in the way of your opportunities and yeah, are just hell bent on quashing and quelling your growth. Like it's horrendous, man.
Are you not a huge contributor to that?
Who? How?
You.
Oh,
All right, let's talk about it. What you just said,
Okay.
this conversation coming into it, you were of the agreement that you have it's never going to be irrelevant. You're always going to have to know the history. Just this conversation that we're talking about. Would that not put you on the side of the gatekeeping?
Hell to the fucking no, because it's an opinion that I have. It's an opinion that I have. I'm not imposing this on anybody. This is something that I feel, shit. If you are going to profess to love this sport, if you're gonna, and many don't, right? Many don't feel that way. Many don't
That's
come
true.
in and yeah. But if you're gonna sit and profess to love the sport, you like have some fabric, like have you to know, like, right, how did we get here? What came before the fucking drill shit? What like where were we? I mean,
I just don't know. I don't know if I subscribe to the fact that to prove that I really love playing basketball, that I have to have watched 1,000 hours of tape of people who play it before me for me to be able to say and prove that I enjoy throwing this ball in that hoop competitively.
Nah, I don't expect none of these people to prove that to me. I don't. This is an opinion that I have. I feel like
opinions matter, my guy, especially if you plan on influencing the culture, which is what 95% of these conversations have been about. People are going to watch this interview and they're going to see that and they're going to be like, damn, Cap said, I got to know X, Y. And someone's hitting the books after they've seen this. Someone doesn't know who Herc is. And they're like, why do they keep saying that? Who is that? I don't know what that means. Right?
You see, they can do that because it's a choice that they have, right off the list. Right? They can choose to say, "Now, fuck that old head." Like we don't want to listen to what the fuck Cap.
Let's not jump that far. Let's not go that far. Maybe not that far.
Yeah, I mean, they could turn around and say, "Nah, man, like, fuck what Cap's talking about. I'm here right now." They can choose to go do that. They can choose to go and research. Because I had said it. I'm putting it out there. I'm putting out the names, like the Grandmaster Kazas and like I'm putting those names out there. They can go and do that, do their research based on what I said.
Your opinion is pro gatekeeping, but you don't feel as though that opinion, you holding that opinion, contributes to the gatekeeping within the culture that's hurting people's pockets, potentially.
Yeah, look, what I'm saying is, like, yeah, like, find yourself in a place where you're doing whatever you're doing and it works for you.
but at least have some base point, some reflection point, like acknowledge this thing with 21 Savage. I'm a refer to it because like it's probably one of the most recent ones that happened, right? He comes in and he says, nah, it's irrelevant.
Right.
He repeats it in that little conversation where he was at. He repeats it. Nas is irrelevant. How, my guy?
Let me ask you this.
How?
Stay here, because this
Yeah.
I was talking about this before. Like I know, like this is a good talking point for this, right? Is there ever a time that even if he's right, if his explanation of like, so like a lot of times, like people react emotionally without responding and like to get clarification. So if his response is to be relevant in 2022, you have to sell at least X amount of records on X amount of platforms. And anybody who doesn't do that is by definition irrelevant in this conversation. Do you still feel as emotionally charged by that if he were to have defined what that meant before he's saying it?
If he were to have defined it, but he didn't.
No,
The man
that's facts. No, that's facts. That's facts.
He stone cold just said, like, had he clarified it and been like, yo, to my audience, had he had said he's irrelevant to my audience, I'd bet, my guy, nobody's gonna give you hell about that, because it's probably true. They probably don't listen to Nas shit, and nobody should be mad at that. But he didn't clarify it. Like he just you don't just blanket statement something like that, like to you know,
regardless of whether or not it's true, there's a certain reverence that should go around the people who built the culture that you profit off of.
Yeah, I feel as though they should be, you know, you've got to at least, even if you don't fuck with them like that, like, or want to do a record with them or whatever, no, have some sort of reverence. Yeah, man, like have
Respect.
a bit of couth. Yeah, have a bit of couth in this, man. This is a house that everybody has contributed to it, and it's built in the fashion that it's standing in, and people have you know, made mistakes that everybody can profit from. We saw how the Locks got dead on Bad Boy. Like there's stories that have helped, like, you know, solidify
you're right. I'm not arguing none of that. I'm with you, my guy. We're 100% on the same page, and I agree. I'm not. This is not my opinion. I'm playing devil's advocate for hip hop conversation wise. You know what I'm saying? So let me ask you this then, because if that's the route we're going to take argument wise, hip hop was also built on talking how you feel and being competitive.
Yeah, I agree.
And whoever came before me, you get what I'm saying? Like that's still that's a part of that still.
That's
like
facts.
You can't get rid of that and still call it the same thing. And it's like, oh, we were only allowed to check people when they were on the come up. Once they're not on the come up anymore, once they've done something to establish themselves, they're no longer admissible to be held accountable to that same standard. Like at least like with the pro thing, I'll give you, because once somebody passes, I think that you're entering into an entirely different conversation. There's a world of difference between talking about Biggie and talking about Nas. I think there's a world of conversation between talking, you know what I'm saying? Like I think that I don't think the same rule applies to both. I don't know that I have my opinion yet. I'm working this out, you know what I'm saying? Like as we're talking about it. But like I think that there's a difference between, like, they are still in this competitive sphere today, dropping albums. Are you a legend or are you an op?
Hey man, let's not shit on legacy like that, man.
No. You don't have to shit, but like, you don't have to shit on something to still point out competitive facts.
How is 21 Savage competing with Nas?
I think I deviated from that specific example and more into the conspiracy version of like a artist combating with a legend in the same space, right? And how is 21 Savage competing with Nas? I would say they're both going to be put up for the same categories in literally every type of award service that the two of their names would ever be mentioned. I think that they both have a following. You know, like there's a lot of things that just being in the genre, regardless of which lane of hip hop, like you can make the same arguments for Lil Nas X versus 21 Savage that you can make for Nas versus 21 Savage if it's just based on genre and not anything that then deviates into the culture as far as like influence, you know what I'm saying? Things that you've actually helped move the culture and shift and things of that nature. If you're just comparing two artists who are active and competing, are they still held to that same taboo?
I think they get numbers, but they're not getting the same numbers. 21 might be making more than Nas, which probably is.
Let's say he's not. That's irrelevant. That's not what I'm talking about. Let's say he's not. Let's say Nas is Drake. Let's say Nas is putting up Drake numbers. Then say Nas is now the best-selling artist in the world. I'm still trying to be the best-selling artist in the world. Like, just like I grew up on that. Nas is one of my biggest influences, right? Nas is one of the only albums I can listen to from front to end. Me personally, as a man, I listened to him and DMX growing up. Like that was like my shit, right? So like, if I'm dropping Friday though, and Nas is dropping Friday,
but what I'm saying is like not the people that rush for 21 aren't rushing for Nas. Yeah,
and that's what he said. And everyone got mad at him.
I'm not. That's what that. Had he said that, Steve, though, had he said that, it would have been something. He didn't clarify that. He just said the man's relevant. Irrelevant to whom?
Let me no. First of all, that statement was inflammatory 100%. The term there's no dialogue. There's no dialogue in which calling someone irrelevant is seen as a bureaucratic statement, right? There's obviously always going to be a negative connotation to the term irrelevant. But we're all adults here. We're critical thinkers. If you had to put your last dollar on the line, do you think 21 Savage meant fuck Nas and his legacy and what he stands for? Or do you think 21 meant the people who are looking for me aren't the same people who are looking for Nas? What he does is not relevant to my trajectory in any way, shape, or form.
Hey man, I'm not trying to even like maybe you're right, Steve. Maybe
why is that courtesy not given to him or to anybody? Like I said, take the people out of it. Right? But like,
because I actually heard the same. I heard the audio.
It was disrespectful. It was definitely. I can't only argue that so much. It was definitely disrespectful, dog. Like
audio, Steve, I heard the audio, man. I mean, we could do and sing this song all night. I mean, that's the only. Otherwise, I wouldn't have given a shit. Like, yeah, like to your people, that man is irrelevant. But God, like to stand on that and then double down. Man, like a week later, you on the song with the man, like that's cop out as hell.
How did you feel about Soulja Boy? You know where I'm going with this.
Yeah, go for it.
Soulja Boy's told us that Nas killed hip hop because Nas was being credited with coining the term hip hop is dead because XYZ.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? How did you feel about that situation? Make it easier. Do you feel the same way about that scenario as you do with the 21 Savage scenario?
Nah. No, actually.
Talk about it. Why? What's different?
because I think that when he did coin that term, it was already done.
What was already
And
done?
like what he's saying, like that hip hop was dead. Like if he says Nas coined that term, there had already been that shift. I think this was 07.
So when Soulja Boy said Nas is responsible for killing hip hop because he's the one that gave the streets
No, I'm
that
saying
terminology.
That terminology came around in 07, 08, I think it was.
Regardless of what the truth is, the statement that came out came from Soulja Boy, and Soulja Boy said that Nas is responsible for killing hip hop for giving the street that terminology. Right? I'll give you an example. The brainwashing is real, right? We're gonna make this real fucking short. Brainwashing is real, and a lot of the things that come in with marketing is getting certain phrases and shit like that to go into the fucking media. The best example I can tell you is Lil Wayne convinced the entire world that he was the best rapper alive because on every song for every fucking year on every radio station that you turned on, Lil Wayne was on a record with somebody saying I'm the best rapper alive. Now you had people who are not of the culture, who are not in hip hop, who don't know anything about hip hop, who are putting on their first cowboy song on the Country Channel, seeing Lil Wayne's face for the first time, and they're going, Lil Wayne's the best rapper alive. Now there's a whole generation of kids who are out there who have only ever heard a Lil Wayne song saying Lil Wayne's the best rapper alive, right? Lil Wayne was solely responsible for everybody thinking Lil Wayne was the best rapper alive and that there was no one else in that conversation when that summer was popping off. You guys remember what I'm talking about? I see Mo was singing. Like he was on the same page, right? So when Nas gave that terminology to the streets, that's when those conversations started being on all the blogs. That's when you started seeing the ticks in different sects in different areas as far as like club scenes and shit like, oh, it's dead here, oh, it's dead here, oh, it's dead over there, blah 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 blah. Was he right? Is it still disrespectful what Soulja Boy did in the same sense of what 21 Savage did? Because you're still coming at a legend. It's still a disrespectful statement. Like Soulja Boy, when he did it, Soulja Boy's he's an inflammatory motherfucker. He don't say nothing lightly. He's not a diplomatic person with how he words things. You feel me? Why one feeling for one and not the other?
I mean, if Nas said that hip hop is dead, Nas said hip hop is dead, and that's and I don't think he wasn't talking about the culture being like being able to produce. That's not what he was talking about. So and I must actually go back and listen to what the youngin said, but I mean, for me that didn't ring off in my head as hard as it does when I heard the 21 Savage thing. It really didn't.
Why does 21 Savage not get the benefit of the doubt of intent of what his intent was, but you're gonna go and cop the same plea for Nas saying, well, that's not what he meant. What he meant was, you know, why is one get it and not the other?
I'm not gonna fucking give 21 that, because I fucking sat and listened to the audio. I heard the guy said it. You know what I mean?
All right, I'm moving on. I'm moving. No, yeah, bro. Like I say, look, I'm not saying I agree with any of my sentiments. I'm just pulling the hip hop gems out of you for the audience. That's all, my guy. They want to hear it from you. They don't want to hear it from me. They don't give a fuck about me. They hear it for you guys. I've been watching Mel's face this whole time. He's like, man, I'm glad Cap is here right now.
They could come for me, man. Pause.
You got anything you want to
Into
add
it.
to that, Mel?
I know for a fact Nas didn't mean that with that statement, because I got to interview him shortly after he dropped that album and he came out here, and I was very eager to know, like, yo, what you talking about? Hip hop is dead. He was just talking about the state in which it was and how, you know, people were using the hip hop banner but doing stupid shit under it. It was starting to change. Hip hop was starting to change. It wasn't a diss to the trap or whatever that was coming up, but it was starting to change. And in the same breath as it kind of shook the scene, and you know, people, like you're saying, people will be like, oh, it's dead over here, it's dead over here. In other spaces, it got more alive over there and more alive over there. Because
Let me show you. No, you're right, right? Because what you're about to get to was like the Kendrick Control thing, right? Like when that came out, and you could say like, "Oh, this is about to be like a beef thing," but this just sparked hip hop everywhere. I see where you're going with that, right? But check this out, right? Because it all starts tying in together a little bit, right? This is the biases that we have with this shit, right? Because who you are matters. Like Cap, when you were talking about like, oh, that's just my opinion, right? I just, because I'm not responsible for what they do, I just give my opinion. Perfect example. Nas made a comment about hip hop being dead, and because of who he is, the influence that he has, and everything like that, it spawned the Soulja Boy thing blew up. He's now credited with the whole hip hop is dead, blah blah blah. He gets backlash for that, so on and so forth. Budden has like 30 minutes worth of raps on Hip Hop is Dead, volume 1 through 4, of like every bar in a thematic bar after bar, given different instances of when it could have died. If hip hop's dead, when, like, who's really responsible? And it literally, like, I think it literally goes on for like a half hour. And you know who don't get no backlash for none of that? Budden. And he actually gave plausible instances and scenarios and dates and times and names of who would be responsible. Not a peep. Why? Because he didn't have the influence that Nas has. Because it didn't mean the same thing. So when you say like, oh, that's just my opinion, I think that you're not giving yourself enough credit for how these people who look at y'all really, See, this is the can't take a compliment shit. This is what that is. You gotta understand, like you guys have that value. When you are that good at something, when you guys are as good as you are, and you are performing at the level that you guys are performing, you are going to make fans that you don't even know you have, dog. There are going to be people in influential situations and shit like that who are going to turn on your shit, and because it's as good as it is, something's going to happen from it. You can't be that good and it not happen if you're consistent. If you're that talented and that consistent with the shit, honestly, I think that the biggest issue you guys have is marketing. Like, I can't even Google y'all properly and have any idea who you are. That's the only issue. It's sure it's not once I find it, because once I get the chance to hit fucking play, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
Right? So like, like those opinions matter, and who you are tends to reflect how much they matter, dog. And you matter. That's what this means. This is just me telling you guys that you matter, goddamn it.
I love Steve.
That's love, bro. Yes.
Salute, my dog.
All right. I'm gonna move on. From this. That was fun though. I see. Look, man. I know you ain't have no conversations like this over there. Nah. Ain't none of these over there. Nah, they came in here ready for. Oh, what are you gonna wear to the premiere? Nah, none of that.
Shit.
I want to go over some hip hop shit outside of hip hop and get your opinions on it. All right.
Word.
First things first, I want to talk about Casper and Pretty Ugly fight, or just the boxing. Not even those guys specifically, right? But the idea of these other platforms that are giving opportunities to artists to make money, get their name out there, punch somebody in the face and shit like that. How do y'all feel about the genre blending of artists, hip hop artists specifically, right? Of a rapper getting their success from things other than rap to support their career. How do you feel about that?
That's awesome. I'd like it. You know what I mean? I think we'd all like something to spring off what got people enamored around your content or whatever, you know. So if you could manage, if you got probably, I mean, who knows if this is Kaz's like favorite sport. He grew up playing, he be playing boxing and all of that, and now because he's popped off so hard, he can now access opportunities in that arena that he's always been so passionate about. It could be that, you know what I mean? And I think that's what life is about. If you can find a way to get to your dream, don't compromise yourself and don't compromise the scene in which you're trying to exist. But if you can connect your passions and set them all alight, starting from the one that popped the hardest. I mean, look, he could have been a popular boxer first. He could have been doing all of that, and then with that popularity, find his way into music because he's always loved music. Maybe he's always stepping out to his friends' instrumentals and shit.
Right.
And now finally, he can actually get his friend popping, use those instrumentals still, and actually get some raps because people are gonna know them immediately. You've already got a crowd. So I think that's just dope. That's just what we're all looking for. We're all passionate about something else apart from the thing that you're probably working a 9 to 5 in, or the thing that's actually popping. We're multifaceted people. We have more than one thing we want to do, and if the one thing can spark up the next thing, hey, yo,
and it's
way.
been happening. Yeah, it's been happening, right? It's been the theme with especially with hip hop cats. We've had like alcohol, you know, that's come alcohol brands that have come from hip hop. We've had fashion lines that have come from rap. Fat Farm, Sean John, Rockaway.
Somebody
you
got
know?
a silverback gorilla shirt or a hoodie or something like that. That I'm still waiting on this shit to drop.
Right here.
Yo, speaking of,
listen, man, we gonna get you all right. We still in prototype phase. Hey, man, you know, we still in prototype phase. I'm gonna get you right. Bro. As soon as we back up and running, there's just one or two things that I need to fix with the clothing. But you know, I'm living with it for the time being, so I can see what I don't like, what I like, and you know what we're keeping, what we're throwing out. Yeah, so before I can actually sell it to people, man, you really don't want to give people things that are gonna fall apart, and you're like, man, Cap, look at this bullshit you sold me, man. Shit ain't even keeping together.
Do you feel like you might be too far on that spectrum?
In terms of like overthinking it, or
in terms of production versus perfection, right?
Okay.
Like, so there's two in YouTube. There's two trains of thought, right? I can put out one video a month. That's like, right? Graphics are fucking on point, well edited. You know what I'm saying? It's got like a fucking banger intro and shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like go all the nines. Or I can do 4 videos a day to get the volume out there, to get the content, to get the message out there, but it's not going to be as clean and pretty and bells and whistly, but the meat and potatoes will be there. To me, my perception of the assembly is that y'all are very, very far on the quality over quantity side of things, so much so that may be part of the influence of, you know, the search engine and shit like that issues, is that there's not a lot of stuff to find when Googling.
I mean it's probably true. I personally, I'm that quality guy. I'd rather like fall back for a good 3 years and put out something after 3 years when I feel like I bet it's time to move again and do something like fucking insanely phenomenal, go back into my fucking hiding spot, chill for another 3 years and come back and do it again. I'd rather do that.
You sound like Miss Natsubi literally had like the same like business model when her and I were going over things.
exactly, bro. I'm content with that. I I'm and also mainly because I don't need to do this. I don't need to do this. I do this because I love this shit. I love this shit, and I go out there and I do it at my leisure. You know, like when you know, like I'll write when I'm happy. I'll write when I'm fucking mad. I'm write when I'm sad. I do this shit just because it's innate. It's in me, right?
Right.
Um, but I don't need this to feed keep the lights on, you know.
Do you
That's why I
think
can
you're
afford.
do you think you're less further in your music career because of that?
Probably, probably, probably.
Is it something that you or the collective, after acknowledging, is it something that you would voluntarily put effort into correcting? Or are you content with the current trajectory and pace of things and volume and like, or is it like, hey, now that we've talked about some of this shit, like, nah, maybe we need to pull the trigger on some new things. Like, what is the mindset?
What happened right at the time when I got signed to the label. The idea was to leave engineering and focus on music entirely. Linda told me, fuck out of here. What you're not gonna do is leave your engineering to come to do this full time. I cannot in good conscience allow you to do that. And like he fought me over this. Like he really shat on me about it. Like, yo, you about to really make some stupid decisions like that, and like leave something that I know you love, and I know something that keeps you getting up and motivated and shit like that, to come over here and gamble, like.
Mm, mm.
Because
Hard.
if you want to come over, yeah, you know what I'm saying? You want to come over here, yeah.
Nothing's
you
guaranteed in the industry.
yeah, fuck all. You know what I mean? So he was like, fuck out of here. What you're gonna do is stay right there, and we're gonna do this how we've been doing it.
Do you know who Ali Joseph is?
Familiar.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let me put you on real quick. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Ali Joseph is an artist from the States who
Yeah.
I would put my last dollar on him being successful. Right. I would put he's one of those ones where it's just like God has favorites, and this fucking kid was one of them. It's not fair. He's got it all. You know what I mean? It's like one of those situations. I'm interviewing him. I ended up becoming like friends with him. Like he's like my guy now. I went from like just like random discovery on the channel. Like holy shit. Like he was actually featured on a different artist that I liked, and I ended up liking him way more than the artist that I discovered him through.
Oh shit.
Like I was a Packy fan, right? There's an artist named Packy who makes like really like just like vibey music. He makes like beer pong music, I call it. It's like the type of shit you have on at the house party while you're playing beer pong and shit like that. Like he makes dope beer pong music. And he featured Ali Joseph, and this cat Ali Joseph, dog. It's something about the level of melodicness. You could hear the musicianship in his voice when he carries a tone and shit like that. You know what I mean? And it's like anyway. So I became like a super hard fan of his. His music was toxic and melodic and like fucking. Oh my god, just all the GSGang shit that I love, right? And then he ended up having tracks where it was like about fucking therapy, and like he like had the introspective shit too. I'm like, dog, I'm in. Anyway, I say that to say this. I get a chance to interview him before we become like really tight. And this is like really like my chance to like really dig into his brain. And one of the things that he tells me is about I don't want to misquote him, but it's paraphrasing is like a lot of times we hear success stories and it's like, man, I sold my house. I went to New York with $5 in my pocket. You know what I'm saying? I couch surfed, and eventually I got my big break and I fucking made it with my back on the floor. He's like, what you don't hear is that for every one of those stories, there's 10,000 people who are still living in their car, who are still sleeping on floors, who never get the big break. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like when a casino advertises somebody winning. that's actually the thing that happens least with the casino is
Yeah,
seeing
yeah,
somebody hit a jackpot,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And he's like, man, my story is going to be one of me working my 9 to 5 and hustling my ass off in my free time to fucking make it and get where I get. I want people to be inspired by the idea of working through what you have to supplement what you want, instead of thinking that you have to, for some reason, it gives you more credibility to be broke and poor and struggling while doing the fucking music shit. You know what I mean? It's a beautiful sentiment that you just had, and it reminded me of that interview. And I was like, dog, I'm gonna put you on to some Ali Joseph shit. Like, his music is just so good, but like that same sentiment, you know what I'm saying, was reflected in that interview. And it's like, I love hearing that shit, because he's right. You don't hear the 10,000 failure stories to every one fucking regular job, you know?
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So that's fucking dope. Let's talk. We kind of actually went over a lot of this shit already. We was jumping around. We was jumping around on a lot of this stuff.
This was a dope flowing
Just having a
convo, man.
conversation,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah. It was really, really dope.
That's how it's supposed to be, man. So it's just like free flowing, right? Now, like
Clean,
question
no.
one.
Real
I can't
talk.
wait till we do it in a coffee shop.
Yeah, we
So
got it.
oh
we
yeah,
got it.
right? Like that's a vibe.
Yeah.
Where we're vibing and I can't wait till we get to do it like that. Whether we're over there or you over out here.
Yeah, either way,
I know.
man.
Yeah, look, I had talked to Stove, and the last thing that I had said to him, or he had said to me, was along the lines of like, man, you're about to come over here a lot faster, a lot sooner than you think. And he had like some shit that's been going on behind the scenes, and it finally came through. He was dealing with some label shit, right? It's not my business to put out there, but he was dealing with some label shit, and it took him a little bit longer to get everybody on the same page, you know what I'm saying, than he thought. But I think things are going smooth. So like, worst case scenario, I'm gonna grab a show or something. Like, I'm gonna get out there, dog. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's gonna happen. I'm definitely gonna touch down, dog.
Straight.
Cool. Speaking, like, this is, look, the transitions just keep writing themselves, right? I want to get, actually, you two are perfect for this conversation too, because you guys sound absolutely nothing alike in terms of, like, no one would ever confuse the two of you for each other on a track if they didn't know, you know what I'm saying? Like, no faces to know nothing. It's safe to say you guys sound very different, right? So I had a conversation about Cap behind Cap's back a while ago, and it was recorded. It was a 3-hour conversation, and I think about an hour and 20 minutes of it was about Cap, right? The footage still exists. We were doing Verse of the Year. And Stoke pulled me in to be one of the judges for Verse of the Year that he was putting together and shit like that. So what we would do is we would listen to the verses, and then after each one, I would do like my own scorecard type shit, and he would put it to his scorecard, and we just kind of got a vibe for what each of us likes versus doesn't like, yada yada yada. All right,
right,
nice.
One of them was Cap's verse. All right, so we're going through everybody and blah blah, and we get around the Cap, and I don't even know if any of this stuff ended up coming out. I don't know if he ended up using any of this shit with the Verse of the Year for that year. I don't know if it ever.
I don't recall seeing it. Like,
I don't know that he put anything. I remember he put out like clips from our conversation, because I remember seeing the youngster one. Like, he put out a clip, and he you know what I'm saying, where they were like talking about the verses and shit like that. And I remember seeing that he used the clip from our convo, but that was it. Anyway, so here's the conversation, right? The conversation has to do with, let's talk lyricism, right?
Yeah.
And it has to do with what's considered lyricism, what's considered good writing, what's considered elevated rap, what's considered to be the pinnacle of pen game. That's the premise, right?
Yeah.
There are a lot of people, we'll call them newbies, right? If you're a noob in the game, I feel like a lot of people confuse lyricism with punchlines, right? Like, their definition of this guy's lyrical as shit is that verse had 10 similes in it. And that's what they think. It's true. Like there are a lot of people who think like that.
Facts.
So like, I try to create the conversation around it, where it's like, first of all, lyricism is defined by the ability to paint a picture with your words. If I can say some things and you can create an image in your head, and it's it's made easier by the way that I describe things and the detail with which it's described, and then the fluidity and like, you know what I mean? Like all these different things go into it. And then it gets to a point where it's like premise, like purpose versus like purpose versus actuality. It sounds like a bunch of fucking nothing. I'm gonna tie it together, I promise. All right. So like the idea when going through these verses, we got the Caps verse, right? And he had Caps verse listed much higher than I did. All right. I'm not gonna put the numbers out there, but I think he had you at like 3. I think he had you as like top 3 or something for the year, right? And then and this was the verse, it was like your Freestyle Friday verse, I think. You're like walking, like it wasn't studio quality. It was just like you like walking down in the hallway or something like that, and he was fucking rapping at the front door or something.
Oh shit, that was COVID. Yeah,
right. That was
the
right?
lockdown ciphers. Okay. Oh
so,
shit.
So we start breaking down, and he's like, you ain't have Cap in your top 3, and I was like, no, and he's like, I thought Cap was your guy, and I was like, Cap is my guy. I was like, but as him being my guy, I also expect him to expect me to be real with him. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I felt as though this was, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna put him someplace just because, I mean. And he's like, nah, I don't think you really listened to that verse. I was like, what you mean I ain't really listened to it? He's like, you might have heard it. He's like, look, I'm throwing a lot of verses at you and shit, and maybe you're burnt out. Like he start babying me and shit like that, right? He started like pitying me. Like maybe he didn't catch that one little guy. Like, go maybe listen to it. So we get to it, and there's a couple of things. There's two main things, right, to point out going into this. Number one, I've always had a difficult time listening to Cap's accent. It's just like on my ears, I have to actively listen because I can't casually listen because I get tripped up. You know what I'm saying? Especially when he's slipping in and out of her neck and shit like that, like rapping in multiple languages. It's not the easiest listening session. And then number two, it wasn't a studio quality fucking track. You know what I'm saying? Like you had like, it was like listening to Lebo in the fucking woods with the winds blowing and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like it was one of those scenarios. So it was already not the easiest listening session. So he comes out, and I'll never forget it. He breaks down this Moses bar, and he like says it back to me, and I was like, that was cool. And he's like, no, that wasn't cool. That was fucking incredible. And let me show you why it was fucking incredible. And he's like, this is the way the staff looks, and then this, it goes this. And then if you go to Deuteronomy, this is this, it shows you this, and the symbolism and ancient robot. And he goes into all this shit, right? And he's like, there was more layers on this bar than in the entire verse that you listed ahead of his. That's what he said to me, right? And like he's literally like looking at my list of who I put where. And is like naming the, because you know when the cameras ain't on, Stoke is a savage. You know what I'm saying? So like he's like, there's more layers to this bar than in this other motherfucker that you put ahead of him in their entire verse. So we end up going back and forth on that. So then I ask you this. So this is the conversation I wanted to have. So the conversation was Cap's verse really better than? If you write so far over your listenership's head, is that considered good writing? If I have to explain to you 15 different references from weird parts of the world that you would have to be knowledgeable about in order to fully appreciate a bar, is that good writing or is that bad writing? And then to take it a step further, I got you in a second, Mel, but to take it a step further, I feel like the audience needs to be taken into consideration because there is a difference between you writing to satisfy yourself and test your pen and like a freestyle that you have in the chamber, and when applying to a Freestyle Friday subject to this specific viewership. Is that not considered a misstep? Or is that still considered this is still the pinnacle of writing? You know, you get the conversation? Mel, what's your thoughts?
Sorry, I was just looking at my shit failing here.
Did you need me to repeat any of that?
Just the end part.
So like in like the last thing I said was about like having to take the audience into consideration, right? So like there's a difference between you writing one of those verses with like all these weird little symbols from all over the place because you're writing for yourself to push your pen, and when you have a specific scenario, a specific arena where it's like I know who my listenership who's going to be listening to this and voting on this is, am I writing to them or am I writing above their heads? And would that be considered good writing because it's even above your judge's head? Or is it considered poor penmanship because you don't have the ability to write to your audience?
I think you've got to stay true to self. You know, you've got to better self. You've got to understand self, you know. And if you have all these pieces aligned and you know self, you're constantly trying to gym self. You know what I mean? You have to get better. I can't, if you spread yourself too thin, it's that master of all, jack of all trades, master of none vibe. If I chase that to try and get your attention, I might lose a whole lot more than if I just try to get into who the hell I am, dissect me, and really get into what makes me dope. You know what I mean? I think from the beginning we were doing this thing to get better at something, to get better at understanding words, playing with them, poetry. It's just been that's the whole premise. You've got to stay true to self, because we were inspired by people who were staying true to themselves, people whose bars we had to look up. You know what I mean? It also became a responsibility of the listener. Like,
all right. Now I love that take.
Yeah, you know, because if you really love what you hear, if you really love this package, take the time out. It's not, you're not always gonna be in the car bumping the shit or listening to it while you're sipping something out in the streets there. You're gonna bump it in the headphones at the quick. Take time. If you like it, it's also on you to learn something through what I've just dropped there. But if I've dropped it there, I'm not gonna not drop it there. I've got to continue growing. I'm on a life journey to grow. You know what I mean? And if I start compromising my self growth, you're not even gonna be getting the me that you want to be getting. So I think hit it.
Yo, just Mel got his bag. Let's go. Let's go. That was fire. Yeah. That was fire.
You know what I mean? That's real. That's real. Be true to self. Grow. And then share that growth with others so they may grow. You know what I mean? If you limit yourself, you've already killed a couple of people that were coming up from you in whatever it is you're doing. You know what I mean? So hit them. The nigga, you sit there with that
responsibility to the listenership.
Yeah.
That's the
you want to be here. You know what I mean?
There's a
Take
cat.
The time.
There's a cat named Graydon Square. I don't expect you to know him. He's a ex-vet, military guy, astrophysicist rapper, right? I don't know how else to put it, right?
Bro.
He makes raps that are designed to make you Google shit. Right? Like he writes, he's into science and he wants people to be into science and space engineering and like particles and all this other shit, right? So he has like this entire verse, it's like a 6-minute rap that he does, right? Where the entire thing is a scheme, where he starts off talking about molecules and particles and all this other shit. And everything that he mentions on a scale in real life is getting slightly bigger. So he starts like atoms and then molecules and then particles and then like by the end he's talking about planets and the stars and the universe, and like the actual verse is a metaphor of going from the smallest things in existence to the biggest things in existence. And it's like this abstract but my point is that was my first encountering with something that you're talking about, where like the artist is intentionally writing to give the listenership the responsibility of figuring out what the fuck I just said. And like that whole dynamic, he built that whole career off of. And he's got like his cult following of like the science geeks who also enjoy fucking rhythm and poetry. You know what I'm saying? Like they found like his people. And if he would have dumbed it down, he never would have been able to find his audience and his people like that he lives off of now.
Yeah.
Yo, Mel, let's go, baby. That was
tough, dog. Salute.
Word,
that was ill right there, man.
Word. Get him, Cap. Get him.
Yeah.
Don't stop.
Hey, man.
I thought I was gonna get you on that. I thought I had him stumped. I was like, it's gonna be a good one. I'm gonna tell the story, the background. They was like, nah, we was ready for this one. They got cleaned up real quick. All right, you right.
Yeah, man. Like we gotta bring them up with us, man. Steve, you know, I feel like it's important, man. If you write, you know, on a level, on that kind of level, on that type of level, always, you know, you educate, man, and you give people, like I get people coming to me every now and then, like, yo, Cap, this line that you said, I actually just fucking figured it out like 2 minutes ago. This is a rhyme I might have written in fucking 2016 or some shit. But you see, that's that replay value. Like somebody might, you know, some of these things that I write them onto songs that people can go sing and clap along to, and you know, some things that sound hard and whatnot, and they can bump.
Right.
But when they actually sit with them and maybe they end up watching a movie where the reference comes from, it's like, oh shit, oh, that's what this motherfucker was talking about. You know, the other day, some kid actually figured out a line, on a freestyle that I did over the control beat. I know we spoke about it earlier. Where I mentioned, penicillin and penicillin to the ceiling. Like it's a line, that line was derived from, what's that movie? I think it's Constantine, where the homies when the homie got pinned up to this. But the kid eventually watched the movie, and he came back to me and he's like, yo, this is what the fuck you was talking about in fucking 2016, whenever the fucking 2014 or 2013, whenever that freestyle dropped. But he came to me like, yo, shit, Connor Nick, if only now I was getting that thing. Like, bruh, what the fuck? You know, that
So are you choosing to do that every time then? Because like, look,
fucking every time, Steve. Every single time, bro. Every single time. I feel like this new stuff I can bring to you. You can live with it for.
I want to spin something around on you guys. All right. I got a battle dropping on the 17th. All right.
You mentioned that joint, right? Yeah.
Saturday come up. I'm gonna let y'all. I'm gonna give an example, and instead of like I've been critiquing y'all shit this whole time, I'm gonna let y'all point that finger back, and I want to drive this home with the opening bar for the last battle that I did. All right. And I want you to rate it. I'm gonna say it to you, and I want you to rate it 1 to 10. And then I'm gonna explain it to you. And I'm gonna say it again. And then after I explain it, I want you to rate it again 1 to 10. And then the conversation is in that arena. This is the conversation we were just having with Cap being in the Freestyle Friday. In that arena, would that be considered like a win because I know how good this shit was? Or because of the arena and you're writing over people's heads, is that still considered an L in that scenario? And how much of a difference that context makes?
We're talking about you now in the battle arena, right? With this line.
Correct. This is battle rap,
yeah.
right? Which does change some things, but not really, because of the way that it is now. You have motherfuckers watching battles from 10 years ago and hitting motherfuckers up on Twitter like, holy shit, when he said this versus this 10, I just got like that still exists. You know what I'm saying? Like that format still exists. All right. So this was I'm gonna just do the first line. That's fine, right? I'll just do one line. I can do more if you want, but I'll just do the one line. All right. I said, you should have never asked for a date. Guru God mode, get blasted in the face. I maimed heads like James Webb. With a hand on my waist, one shot will make it clear where you at in this space.
James,
1 to 10 me. 1 to 10 me.
I'm gonna hold you down with a strong 7 on that.
Do you mind running it back, selector?
Yeah. One more time.
That shot in the space.
I said you should have never asked for a date. Guru God mode, get blasted in the face. I maim heads like James Webb. With a hand on my waist, one shot will make it clear where you at in this space.
Yeah, well, that James Webb bar is crazy, dog. Shot into space.
I got you for strong 8.
Strong 8? Cool. Now let me explain it to you, right? I said you should have never asked for a date. All right. He's the one that asked me to battle. Right. So that's like a little bit of story behind it, right? I want him. All right, cool, bet, right? Guru God mode, get blasted in the face. So Guru is a character from One Punch Man, which is an anime. And Guru gets possessed by God. And when he does, he can take the power of anybody else in the anime. And when he does, he gets their face. The #1 hero in the anime, his name is Blast. Guru God mode, get blasted in the face. So not only the you blast, but him taking the strongest person in the. But see, like, there's no way for the listener to know that unless they're One Punch Man fans. Right. So to take it further, right? I maim heads like James Webb. James Webb is the telescope that just went out into space, right?
Yeah.
With a hand on my waist, one shot will make it clear where you at in this space. 2 things. #1, the battle took place on Twitter Spaces, right? So that's a play on the actual space where it's taking place. #2, when Guru gets possessed by God and is fighting One Punch Man from the setup, it all took place in space. So it ties back in with that shit too. So if you look up that fight, so now bring it back and want to tell me, right? You feel me? I said you should have never asked for a date. Guru God mode, get blasted in the face. I maim heads like James Webb with a hand on my waist. One shot will make it clear where you at in this space.
Yeah, I'ma stay. Yeah, I'ma stay with the 7.
I'll take it.
I'll stay with the 7.
Stay locked in on your 8. I got you on your 8.
So now the question becomes this, right? There's like 5 additional layers to that bar that the average listenership is not going to pick up on, including the people who are going to vote on that battle. Is that good writing or is that bad writing?
Yo, that's fucking insane writing, bro. Like, it's insane writing. It's fucking crazy writing. It's not. I don't think the reflection is on you, like you being a terrible writer because you're writing because you were aiming for like that is to sit there and fucking and concoct this shit like that's one thing that I think we I don't know, because maybe we're too cool or whatever, like as lyricists, like we don't give it up like that to other lyricists, but to sit and like make the shit your fucking one line that comes back from like Steve.
So in your opinion, at least that's congruent with your other opinions. You know what I'm saying? Like why you're always gonna write to that. Like no, so that's I'm with it. I'm with it. Consistency. That's why I love y'all. Consistency.
I mean. Now I'm gonna fucking I need to go see fucking One Punch. Like I need to go see what's up with that. That shit sounds fucking. Yeah, that shit sounds fucking interesting to me. Now I gotta go sit and figure this shit out.
You know what I mean?
I'm not teaching people science, but
here we go. Here we go.
I'm with the shit,
dope.
dog.
That's dope.
Yo, that shit's hard, bro.
Do you guys have any questions for me? Anything for the GSGang, for the audience that you want to turn to? Because the last things I want to talk about are going to be the interviews you did with PQ. I want to pick y'all brains about that. All right. And what it was like going on speaker, not just going on speaker, but going on speaker after Stove. I feel like it's a different, I feel like it's a whole different arena now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Facts. Big facts.
So yeah, is there anything you guys want to talk about? Any questions you have for me or the gang in general?
How are you finding like, cause like I see you growing, and man, and like I need to give you your plaudits, Steve. Like you've been grinding, my dude, and you know what I mean. Like it's good to see you. Like your yeah, bro. Love seeing your foray further up the continent, and how much they appreciate you up there, man. Because honestly, bro, like when we do this thing, we always feel like we probably won't get it received how we export it, you know, like some things will be lost in translation somewhere, and and you slick with that, like you give them, you give them you know that kind of, sit and listen to this. Did you fucking hear what they said here? Did and I'm fucking happy to see, I'm excited to see that your growth is reaching and getting as far as it is, just from being able to explain the shit, that we give so much to. You feel me? Fucking, I just wanted to give you your motherfucking flowers, Steve, bro, because
that, it means,
real
it means
real
the world,
spill,
dog.
real spill, bro. Like, you need to understand how important you are to the likes of we.
That's heavy, dog. I appreciate that.
That's real.
More to me, more to me just saying I appreciate it. Like, I genuinely do. Like, it's not just like a, you know what I'm saying? Like, you feel
Love,
me?
Steve-O. You're ready.
Let me paint a bigger picture for you real quick, right? Let me give you a little insight into like what the goal is, right? So like when I got let's do like a timestamp, right? So like when we did the Triple Distill podcast, right? Me, PQ, and Stowe got together on the first, I don't know how many episodes ended up coming out, but we shot like 6 episodes, right? And on one of the episodes, they were talking about the channel growth, and we were like, oh, we're 5,000 strong right now. Since that point, like at 5,000, I was able to get on TV in South Africa with fucking legends and put on X amount of artists from SA, so on and so forth, right? We're at 30,000 subs now. We're 31,000 and some change, right? And it hasn't been that long since that point. Our presence in Nigeria and Ghana has been fucking incredible. I've gotten to sit with some of the biggest artists from both, whether it's like people who are influential. Blackway came on the show. He's the first Grammy nominated cat that I've had on the show, like sitting there, like he's got shit with Shaq that he's doing, right? Like dog, like it's gotten so much to where we have these pockets. I got to sit with fucking LJ and EL in Ghana. I got to sit with fucking MI, Jesse Jags, even like everybody out in fucking in Nigeria. SA, you guys already know all the cats. Like SA is where it all started. You know what I'm saying? Like we did this actually for real. Cat is the first person to have ever been interviewed on the channel twice. Like it was supposed to be come to the, technically it's an assembly interview, but I got an interview with LJ, with Lyrical Joe, on fucking the 16th. That's gonna be like a Christmas special, and he's the first individual that came for a second time. But like that's a big deal. So here's my plan, right? My channel is growing and pretty exponentially. Like I'm happy with the pace at which our growth is. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this into the GSGang network instead of just me doing something. And what I want to do is I want to have dedicated reactors that fuck with the channel and how we do things from all over the world, from different countries, right? And I want them to also be in with the ideology of putting dope artists in front of people. And what I'm going to be able to do is I'm going to be able to listen to an assembly record and say, cool, I got hitters in fucking 7 different countries right now that I'm going to spin this to, and I'm going to send this track to, and you're going to get reacted to from reactors other than myself in 7 different countries all around the world. You're going to get exposure. You're going to get instant international exposure just because I fucked with a track and decided to put it in circulation. And that's going to give all those cats a chance to eat and expand their viewership. That's going to give the artists a chance to expand their listenership. That's going to, you know what I'm saying? It gives people incentive to fuck with the GSGang in a way that doesn't necessarily benefit me directly. But I said it in the very beginning, and like I'm well aware of my place in the culture. I've never been one of those people to try and push the boundaries with that. And my sentiment has always been, if when all is said and done, I managed to give back to the culture more than I've taken from it, I will consider this to have been a successful run. And I continue to take from it every fucking day. These relationships with you guys, you know what I'm saying? The fucking music that I listen to every single day, the artist fucking relationships and interviews and shit like that, right? Like this all, it adds to my mental health. It adds to my just overall fucking happiness. I love the fucking channel and the messages and shit, dog. So like, I feel like I owe a lot, and my ambition because of that, I want to be able to I want to be able to do something that's way bigger than the 100 to 1,000 people that are going to watch this one interview. I want to actually be able to make a difference for the right people who are dope. Like my name needs to mean something. And like that's step one, is building up my name so that my name means something. People know if I say something's dope, it's dope. And people know that if I say something's trash, I'm gonna give the reason as to why I think it's trash. You feel me? Like it is what it is. But yeah, so like the goal is lofty. The goal is lofty, and as we get bigger and bigger, and I feel like I can pull it off, we'll start pulling the trigger on that.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Nice.
It's cool.
Big up, Steve.
Hey, it's not about me, it's about them. But I feel like I give y'all a little something.
Big up, man. Word up.
Appreciate it, brother.
Any other questions or comments, concerns for me or the gang?
Nah, man.
This is a shame. I'll say I got to put y'all on the spot the whole time. I thought y'all would have some bangers for me.
Where you trying to take your music? Where do you see your music? How far are you trying to take this battle?
I'll say I don't make music. But as far as the battle rap stuff, transparency, right? I do not even identify as a battle rapper at this point. I think I am more valuable to the culture from a media perspective than as like, here's the thing. I can do my YouTube shit whenever I want to do my YouTube shit. And I don't feel like I'm disrespecting anybody by fuck you, it's my channel. I do what I want when I want. To say that you are a battle rapper in 2022 requires a certain dedication and requires a certain commitment to the craft that I do not have. So I would never try to portray myself as that when I know there are people out there who want it a lot fucking more than I do, who are working a lot harder at it. The benefit of me still battling and shit like that, Mel was not trying to hear none of this shit.
His phone must have died.
It's cool. But yeah, so like the benefit of still doing this shit. Why am I battling on the 17th? Yeah. That's the question, right?
Yeah.
Because I understand what I do. And I understand that what I do can be very uncomfortable. To have a person you are unfamiliar with listen to your music in front of their audience and give their unfiltered opinion on it and say what they don't like and pick your craft apart that you spent hours and hours doing and blah, 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 blah. It's important for me to, number one, make it clear that I'm of this cloth. You know what I'm saying? Like that's step number one is like these opinions and shit. You're good. So step number one is like, I was telling him why do I battle rap then? Why battle on the 17th if I'm not identifying as a battle rapper, right? So the first thing is like to make it clear why I get to have the opinions that I do. I get to say that X, Y, and Z is not that good because here is my level of understanding of how to write X, Y, and Z well.
I got you. All right.
So the first thing it does is gives me a little credibility, right? If I'm going to listen to, I react to battles and I chew people to fuck up when I'm reacting to battles. Everyone in the audience, rapping, hosting, don't matter. I got something to say about everything, right? I'm entertaining at the end of the day, right? It's an entertainment thing, right? I don't feel as though people respect the average reactor because they see that as like a teach, like those that cannot do teach type thing, right? Like you're just commenting on it because you can't do it. You're trying to leech off other people's careers to get where you're going. First things first. Absolutely. 1000%. What? Yes. What? Look, I am a fan first, dog. These motherfuckers that I critique on here, 99.9% of them are more talented or more skilled and are more dedicated to this than I am to anything in my fucking life. And I take my hat off to them. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, I try to give the artist as much of the love and respect as possible. But I'm also not dumb, right? Like I'm not going to deny that there's a benefit to me to fucking being in these spaces. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like the first thing that I can do to separate myself from those other reactors who people feel that way about is by allowing myself to go into the same arenas and to put myself to the same scrutiny that these other cats are doing to. So you can go and listen to my battles and be like, oh, how do you like it? I think you're shit, and you don't blah blah blah. Well, that's fine. Like, if that's really how you feel, like that's the whole point of this. This is the conversation. I end every reaction with, do you agree? Do you disagree? Because I'm not an authority on this shit. I'm only giving my perspective and my opinion. And do you know how often I'm wrong? Like a lot. Especially when it comes to like local shit. I get explained translations of words. I can sort of speak pidgin English now. Like I get explained fucking all the local fucking dramas and politics and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like I know more about the fucking election in Nigeria than I do in my fucking own country this year. Like that's just there's so much education that comes from this shit, right? But it's because I'm willing to be like, yo, educate me. If I'm wrong about something, and we don't have to argue about it. You just tell me what it is, and then we grow from there. And now the next time this comes up in a different reaction, you'll see that I paid attention to what was said and that I learned from it and that I don't make the same ignorant statements more than once, that it's been an ongoing growth process. You feel me? And that's why this is so super long. Anyway, that's why I battle still. I battle because I like it. I enjoy it. I like making people feel bad about themselves. Like that's what I get out of it, right? Like I get to, if I hate most people, and it's just an easy way to not kill people in real life and just take it all out and fucking scream into a fucking mic for a while. I enjoy that, right? And then the other side is the lens, dog. Like, point the finger, like I say that I did with this. Like I'm not just gonna sit here and be like, oh, Cap on verse of the year wrote over people's heads, blah blah. No, I gave an example. Here's an example of me purposely writing over people's heads that I, you know what I mean? Like I know that they're not gonna get this level of what's intended here, but I'm willing to have that conversation with Cap because I'm also willing to have that conversation about what I do. And I'm looking for advice. There's a good chance that based on what his opinion was on this, that I'm going to adapt and model my opinions based on people who are much, you know, more educated in these fields than I am. And I think that I think I rubbed some people the wrong way because of how I deliver my opinions. But always a student first. You know what I mean?
Now, I respect. And I mean it. I mean, you get more clout from me, and you know, and people from like myself, like-minded. If you are that headstrong about your opinions, this is a very difficult culture to. It's everybody has an opinion about it, and facts are few and in between, few and far in between. Shit you see on fucking line, people have you know all sorts of wild theories and ideas, and it's up to you to be like, all right, well, that's bullshit. Discern, and you keep it moving.
Bro, I say it all the time. The smartest thing that I've ever done in my life was learn how not to reply to people on Twitter. how not to engage with things I disagree with.
That will help you out a lot in life.
Peace in the Middle East, man.
Smartest thing I ever did. And especially with me, I'm very opinionated. And like my first couple of days on Twitter were rough, though. My first couple of days on Twitter was rough. I was like, oh, we just supposed to give our opinions on everything? Oh, bet. I'm in. Let's go. Let's. 3 days later, this shit just won't stop vibrating. I'm like, look, I'm never talking to anyone ever again. This is
shit.
God forbid you comment on like a politics post or something like that on accident. Now you on the wrong side of fucking TikTok then, huh?
Oh man.
It's crazy.
Right. No more questions for me or for the GS gang?
Nah, I'm good.
Nah, got you. You're good.
All right. I want to talk about PQ. All right. For those of you who don't know, PQ is the queen, the pristine queen, Aziza. I love her to death. She is the premier hip-hop journalist in South Africa. Close friend of mine and devout hip-hop head. She got the luxury of getting to interview these gentlemen first on the album, right? And I want you to understand this dynamic. I get someone who I love watching interview. I model a lot of my interview skills off of PQ. Like I got way better now than I was before watching her craft. And I was just like yo, I admire her. Like she's really dope in this shit, right? And then I get to watch her interview people that I also fuck with as humans, as artists, as music that I actually listen to and shit like that. And I was geeked. I started hitting her up. I was geeked. Dog, you don't understand the level of energy. I was like, why didn't you tell me, blah, blah, blah. But that was short-lived. I then asked her a very simple question. And I was like, hey, Cap hit me up. And I think I'm going to get a chance to interview the Assembly. Do you mind telling me what you guys went over so that I don't, ask? I feel like most artists don't like interviews because they get asked the same exact questions every time that they sit down, and it doesn't, what I'm saying? It's not a hip hop conversation. It's like a generic panel of yes and no. You know what I mean? Like it is what it is. And I know that wasn't going to happen with PQ. So I was like, let me see what y'all talk. So I was like, yo, what did y'all talk about? And she said every single thing.
That's a fact.
I was, what the?
That's a fact.
Like, you ain't leave me nothing. She said, we talk like from the music, the creation, the artwork, I'm like, you ain't leave me not a crumb. Not a crumb. Not another. I was like, yo, I gotta get creative with this. I was like, cool, I'm gonna need you to go send somebody to get Mel sick. I need another week to fucking go cough around this man or something like that. I need more time to write these questions, dog.
I see how these things are happening to me. I see you.
The devil's in the details, baby.
Oh man.
What was it like? I wanna talk to you about your interview from the artist perspective about the interviewer. Like I want to interview you about what it's like getting interviewed over there. And what's the experience? What is the thought process going into an Aziza interview versus going into podcast number 104 interview?
With Ozzy, man, like ready. Yeah, you got it. Like, and also like you must clear yourself. I've sat in front of Ozzy 3 times. 3 times. One was solo. When I did the album, the Ape tape. 2 was when we did the Vita 24 thing.
Right.
Yeah, she put us through the ringer with that.
Put on.
Yeah, she put us through the ringer.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Like no interviewer and shit like that can also say that they've been a part of creating the culture that they're interviewing about.
Yeah.
That's you know what I mean? Like it's different, dog. It's so different to just talk about it versus like, yo, no, I've actually been a part of this. You know what I mean? Like
big facts. Big facts. And then the last time was when we did the assembly joint, and each and every time, like she, like when you think that she has probably come close to the zenith, she just keeps getting better and better with it, and it was no different when we sat with her for the orientation. She's like she's a stickler for details. Like that's the one thing about her that like that almost grates my balls to it. She's that much particular, and I love it, man. It's something that's not a lot of people have about, because when you're doing this kind of work, you present yourself first and foremost. If you've done a great job, we'll hear it, even prior to us answering the questions and things like that. We'll hear that, oh shit, you actually went to work. Like she actually went to school for this shit. She did journalism. You feel me? She actually did media and she's like about it, and it had to be her, bro. It had to be. It had to be her. Now, you know what I mean?
No, what do you think?
She's too passionate. I love it. Yeah. And she extracts the goods. She's a good interviewer. You know what I mean? I say the same to you. It's a few interviews you gotta prep for. It's a few interviews you gotta go refresh something and come into. Where you gotta know, okay, I'm stepping up to that radio station to talk about the project. Do I need to listen to the project again? Nah, let's just roll up, man. Let's just roll up. And you rock up and you
and
do
this
great.
one of those, yeah.
You know what I mean? And you just do great. You can't do that with YouTube, PQ included. You gotta now bump your project. You have to hit the refresh button. You gotta be ready. You know what I mean? Because she might just catch you with the left hook. And, you know what I mean?
Is it more excitement or nervousness going into the interview?
Hey,
with her, I mean, today was excitement. I was excited to sit with you because we've been like I mean,
no, I meant with the PQ John, with the PQ John.
Oh, with
walking into.
I just look forward to them every single time now. The first one I did, I was kind of nervous, because this is a very good friend of mine who was there when we launched. She was actually the MC when I launched the project and this and that. So she was fully, capable of sinking my ship had she gone, about it the right way.
So on track 3, you were crying when you were in the booth. What was like?
Exactly. So I was so it was a bit of nerves. But in the second and then third, it was just like, all right, cool. The second was a little bit more somber because we were talking about somebody who had departed and whatnot. So I knew what to kind of expect. And also there was, having to reflect on like the great moments that we had with them, but like it was very cleverly done, But it's been excitement for this orientation one, and sitting with you today was just like, fuck, man, we got, because I know we're about to like just fucking shoot the shit with Steve. It's gonna be like one of those dope fucking, and it's been so ill, man. It's been so live. Real talk, bro.
Let's go. I appreciate you, man. I was like, I gotta do something different. We gotta get something popping with this. I'm gonna put them on the spot. We'll put their feet to the fire a little bit. They ate this shit up.
and like the marked fucking, like you could see, like in terms of like when last I sat with you, shit, bro. Like last time was a dope convo. I think we spoke about quite a lot, but it was like maybe just under an hour, over an hour.
Just under an
that
hour.
Convo, yeah. And like you can see how dedicated you've been to improving yourself, and not just with the shit that I've seen you do up until now. You fucking sat with a sex worker the other.
Did you see that joint?
I saw that joint, bro. Like,
Doug, if there's anything I love is hip hop and titties. And like, if I can have a career talking to artists and sex workers for my whole, I'm in. What? Whose job is better than this?
Based on that alone, I had to be like, yeah, let me go find out what the hell this guy Steve is talking about, man. Shit, fucking hilarious, bro. Fucking hilarious. But I enjoyed it. I
got a lot of stuff that hasn't come out yet either. Like we did you know how I am. I like to establish rapport first and everything like that. Like I can't have a sex worker come on and just start asking raunchy weird shit right off the bat. You know what I mean? Like that's not the vibe. So like the first time talking, we was like, we talked about, here's what it is. You know what I'm saying? Here's the stigmas. Here's the politics around it. Here's why, you know what I'm saying? Like all that. And then once we stopped shooting, she was like, that was a lot of fun. Do you want to get into the weird shit now? I was like, yeah, let's get into the weird shit now. So then we started recording again. And I got all the clickbait shit saved so that I can have the clickbait stuff come out to like go, like she had a story about fucking she had a client and she was fucking a client and she ended up having a miscarriage while she was fucking this dude on the clock. And that's not a story you open with, right? It's not like, oh, let's go, I'm being joined by so and so. So tell me about, you know what I mean? Like that had to get worked up to. And now I've created this platform, this safe space for people to tell their stories and their lives and their way of life and shit like that.
That's insane,
it's fire.
Yeah.
See what I mean, bro? Like it's insane where you've come from and where you're going. Like this is, man, strength to strength, bro, and more strength to you, Steve. You keep doing your thing.
Amen. Yes, sir.
This is supposed to be about how great PQ is. See, now you got me doing the cap thing.
Right.
Like I can't take compliments like that. Like, nah, this is about how great she is. God damn.
Right.
She is
My bad,
amazing.
my
I can't
bad.
wait to see where she's going. I love her radio show. She's like a true hip hop scholar. If she could bust raps, she'd be a problem.
She
Can
does,
I
but
tell
she's
you,
terrible.
we tried,
She'd be a
bro.
problem.
We got her so fucked up. Her and Stoke were drinking on set for like, I think it was like the third one. We did like 2 episodes back to back, and they were drinking the whole time. Like the motherfuckers had the
okay.
champagne going and going and going. Right? We tried so hard to get her to just commit to doing like a freestyle segment or something like that. Wouldn't budge.
I heard her little raps, man. They're trash. But I told her like, yo, she's gotta relax. I told her she gotta relax.
You see.
Yeah, nah, but she loves singing as well. But don't let it get there.
What was your favorite part of the interview with her? Like, what was the highlight of the interview to sit down with her?
Man, all those stray questions, man, that leave you either blushing or just like head dropped. Like, how are you gonna ask me that here?
What was the question? What was the question?
Bro, I don't think it was only one, you know.
It was a few of those.
Yeah, man.
But I think there's I think one of my favorite parts was when we got around to speaking about when we were kings. And you know, like we really went into depth. We actually have like a segment of that which is we sort of ready to come out maybe in the next week or two.
These motherfuckers. All right, hold on. I'm cutting you off. For those of you who don't know, before I do my fucking interviews, I have a little short segment where I talk to motherfuckers and I'm like, hey, here's the idea. Is there anything you want in? Is there anything you want out? So on and so forth, right? I do like that whole thing. I'm a polite guy, right? One of the things that I picked out was how much I love that track. And I was like, we're going to do a whole in-depth thing on this fucking track. I told y'all that before. And now I ain't have an original thought in my fucking brain, dog. You say none of this shit is original. She did all this already.
No, hold on. Like you asked me which part was my favorite of the interview. I'm telling you which part of it was my favorite.
You could have told me earlier, like, now we did that already. Like, I'm thinking I came up with some. I'm like, nah, look, I can tell, you know, everything from the instrumentation to this to how it was put together. Like, this is going to be a good story. This is going to be, and you just like, yeah, now that's coming out soon. That's this week. Look out. I don't even care anymore. I don't even want to know what happened. I watched the interview. I'll let PQ tell me. This is what I'm talking about, man. This is what I'm talking about. You know, don't meet your idols. All right, so PQ did the thing. The interview's still coming out in pieces.
Yeah, it's coming out in pieces, yeah.
And the best place to watch it is YouTube?
Yeah, so we do also put little clips and, you know, which not whole clips on the social media, so on Instas, and which then will give you the link to follow the rest, to catch the rest of the interview. But we're gonna start putting those up on our YouTube page. Yeah, I think that's probably what's gonna start happening. But we have to get, because we're also currently in the process of getting the work done and put up on all the DSPs and shit like that. And you know, it would probably be well, in my thinking anyway, it would be wise to, as that is available, start publishing the rest of the interviews. We've just been a little bit slack with that. Use the interviews
to push the traffic to the
okay,
that makes sense.
So,
is there a reason outside of presumed monetary value that it was only released on Bandcamp as an exclusive at first?
No, it was we thought. Go ahead.
No. For Bandcamp, I know we will put that up there first so that the true heads, you know, people that really love the crew can really support it for a while before it gets thrown out into your Spotify 25-cent streams. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think the DSPs just give people an opportunity to playlist the stuff. you know, then you can keep it on rotate on your favorite thing. But initially, that first part of the release was literally so that we can have the people that really do care help out with actually purchasing the project before it's just in the ocean.
Are you comfortable talking about? Can I ask you questions about that? Are you guys comfortable talking about that process?
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Cool. So it's not the first time I've heard this. You know who Mode 9 is?
Yeah.
Nigerian rapper.
So Moto, he does the same thing. So he puts out his stuff on Bandcamp like a month ahead of time or something like that for like the people that are like super dedicated to him. I don't know if it's effective or not. So now that you guys have done this, how long will what's going to be the time spent from the time that it was uploaded first to Bandcamp to the time where it gets uploaded to the first DSPs? What's that time period look like?
I don't think we had banked on a time period. Like, I don't think there was a set time period. We actually just wanted it to live there for a bit, you know, while, because we actually like now only just started talking about, yo, let's get this shit up on fucking the rest of the DSPs. But we just got to put together this sort of like outstanding lyrics and things from the featured artists and stuff like that still has to come in, that we'd like to submit everything with, you know. There's no rush. We aren't in any rush to get it up and put on the DSPs. Like, it'll go when it goes. It's doing pretty well, like from in terms of the amount of work that is being sold. I realized that after the Speaker freestyle, the traffic went up again, because you know that was published on that freestyle, and people who hadn't heard us and heard us for the first time, they're like, oh shit, these guys are actually out shit. So they went and actually copped off the link and went and copped the orientation, and then some copped inspection as well while they were over there. You know what I mean? So it was like, you know,
I was
really
coming up with so many ideas to assist with this too. I was actually talking to Leo about it. I ended up purchasing a couple copies of the album for him, and I bought like 5 copies of it and had Lebo and the manager held like a contest to give them out or something like that.
Yeah. That, for some reason, I don't know if it was because of it was the way it was worded or whatever, but it didn't really click. It didn't really grind off like that. Which was something which was a bit of
trial and error type thing.
Yeah. So yeah, that, you know, I mean, it's one of those things.
So let me ask you this. Let's talk. So this goes back to like the perceived idea of whether or not it's going to be a success, like what you consider to be a success or not, right? So the first thing I was like, as far as the time period between Bandcamp and the DSPs, you're saying like there's not a plan. It's just kind of, you know, feeling it out, right? Like look. How much time has like October, November? So it's been a month, maybe a month and a half by the time it drops.
Yeah.
Is it worth it? I guess is what the question is going to come down to.
To go publish it on the DSPs?
No. Is it worth it to instead of uploading everything day one altogether?
Oh, right.
To put it out a month ahead of time instead of altogether.
Man, I don't even know if the kind of revenue I think we generated over this time frame, while it was solely on Bandcamp, for us is like it's a W for us, because I mean we haven't seen numbers like that, not in our
sphere.
Sort of
I got you.
Not and as a collective we haven't, and you know, now we can actually be like, okay, cool, yeah, here's an amount, substantial amount that we could use for A, B, or C, and plow back into the teams, because a lot of this shit we fund ourselves.
So we're calling it a W. It was a
Definitely.
successful rollout.
Definitely, most definitely.
So I guess two follow-up questions.
It can't always be better. I mean, it can always be better.
Yeah, I mean, you can sell 10 million on your first day.
Yeah.
I get
You know what I
it.
mean? Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
So here's my question. This the two follow-up questions to that. So like, was it good enough that you're going to consider doing that as the rollout plan for future projects as well?
I mean, it could definitely be a part of that conversation. I think we were happy enough with how we started off. This period was a learning curve, right?
Right.
And we saw that, oh shit, this actually made sense. Maybe what we'll do different is how we'll prepare how the rollout for the DSP works. Maybe not necessarily as long as we've set with it this time. Maybe it can be
week or two, something like that. Pay period.
Yeah, something like that. You know what I mean?
So it's not perfected yet. It's still you're still working the bugs and things.
So that we know once we put it on Bandcamp, let's go see Speaker, let's go see whoever else in these other platforms and things like that, where we get our freestyles and things out, where these links can live. People, because we've noticed now that, oh shit, that does work. It does drive the traffic over there, you know, and yeah, that's just
Okay.
as we say, it's probably
Would you for where you guys are at now, I don't know how big you guys actually are with the name versus the sales and impact. You feel me? Like it's hard for me. Like, I know that the people whose opinions are respected respect your guys' music. That doesn't always reflect with the charts, right? Like, doesn't always reflect with the actuality of where the music is. For where you guys are, because you have a better understanding than I do, is that a rollout that you would suggest for artists on the same level as you? Or is it still like, hey, we're working the kinks out, I'm not ready to co-sign anything just yet?
Yeah, if you have your following, use it, because if you have a big following, you'll get the streams that calculate numbers that matter, right? If you have a big following and you start off on a Bandcamp, you're likely to make a lot more dough than you are going to get from Spotify. If you're not a popular artist and you go straight to Spotify, you're going to get a couple of cents. If you're not a popular artist and you're on Bandcamp, you might get one or two people that bump into your music and they're like, oh shit, bro is real about this shit. And they might cop something off that. All in all, you are making more, if it's monetary, on Bandcamp, probably from 2 sales than you are from Spotify in the next 2 years. You can't miss putting your you can't miss putting it out on Bandcamp first, because people can also donate to that. You can also just PayPal a guy. You know what I mean? It's a shot in the dark, but it's a shot you've got to take, because it's a lot that you won't be able to access, and if you don't try that avenue first.
Right.
Spotify, everybody's got access. Everybody can playlist you. Everybody can tire your music out within the month, and then you watch the stream slow down, you know, and then they tally you up and tell you, okay, this is all you were good for with all of that stuff that you dropped. On Bandcamp, people are proper purchasing tracks or projects on there, you know what I mean? And there's just a whole lot more impact. You got Bandcamp Friday, where the artist gets to keep 100% of their moolah on a random Friday that they put up, you know, so you get to promote that with the people that love your shit. You let them know, and they can come cop some shit, and you get 100% of your money. Those other platforms aren't trying to do that for you. Nobody really got love for you, but those other platforms really let you know, like, bro, we don't got no love for you here.
Right.
So I don't, you know what I mean? It's something I plan to just keep as part of the rollout. You've got to pass by where people can actually do something to shift or to support your talent. Yeah.
Do you have so you guys have a manager, right? Do you have someone specific for your marketing? Is there anyone that's in charge of marketing for y'all?
No.
Okay.
No.
And even the manager thing, we don't have a man. Yums is not our man. Yums is
He manages our affairs.
I feel like,
yeah.
I feel like that's how he was portrayed to me when I spoke with Lebo about it. That's why.
All right. Yeah, man. Yums, I don't think I also think it's unfair to say that he is our manager because um that manager title, I know like I've had a manager before. That person has to be really like he has to be hands-on, like not to say Nyams isn't hands-on, like, but I don't think he
But that's
is.
not necessarily indicative of what his role is.
Nah,
I got you.
it definitely isn't. Like I think really it would be unfair to put that on to put that on Yams like that. He's a very strong like catalyst for a lot of shit. And
A
that
whole lot
But
of
this
shit.
was this
yeah.
was this was less about like him. It's not coming at him or his relationship at all. This was
Mhm.
more or less
Nah,
just
that's
like the marketing side of things.
absolutely not.
I was like curious, like are you guys open
Marketing,
to
no.
suggestions and shit like that to get assistance on the marketing side of stuff? Like, is
Yeah,
that something you guys are still
for
looking
sure.
for?
For sure.
Absolutely.
For sure.
All right.
For sure.
Absolutely.
I got a couple things I can get into that with you guys, but we'll do that off camera.
All right, dogs.
Last thing I want to talk about, right? While I still got you here, I want to talk about the speaker shit, right? Like, what was it like? Like the come up, like the walk in, right? The deliverance. There was a statement made when I was listening to it that I want to ask about. There's a couple things. All right, so let's get into it, right? Number one, rate your experience going to hang out with speaker 1 to 10. What was it like?
10, man.
I was a 10 for me. Yeah.
10.
Yeah.
Without a
Let's
doubt.
go.
Straight 10.
10. Speak is a strong dude, man. Like he's one of them ones. As far as when we speak about disciples out here, yeah,
True scholar.
Speak is one of them. And I mean, when you're in the presence of someone like that, it's that game recognized game, and you see it, man. You see it with the dude. He's one of those.
I'm on record several times. I had the pleasure of being able to sit down and interview him in the past, tap him with his catalog and shit like that. Like, that's my guy. Like I told him I'm on record with this. His channel is everything that I wish my channel was. Like what he like to be able to bring fucking cats over and have legends freestyling in over your beats and at your fucking place and shit. Like, dog, everything. If you guys do anything, go and check out speaker shit too. Like that's gonna be dope. So what I do know, there's a couple of things about this I want to talk. So yeah, it was a 10 out of 10 for everybody involved. All right.
Yeah.
Approaching there, same thing with PQ. More excitement or more nervousness?
Excitement. I'd been there before as well. You know what I mean?
Excitement for me too.
Yeah. Mel was also there. H must have been a little bit nervous because he did hit me up in the the night before, like, yo, what did he say? Like he's alluding to something like, how long do we have to rap for? Because I know that I saw was, you remember that,
right? Yeah. Oh, I'm aware.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, I know, because I've seen cats.
It warranted a couple questions. It warranted a couple clarifications.
Yeah. It's like, I've seen cats go up there and rap forever, man. So what? I'm like, nah, you good, man. With there's 3 of us there, we'll share the workload, So it was but it was excitement, definitely excitement.
That's dope.
Sure. Absolutely.
When I interviewed speaker, I know a lot about the behind the scenes workings of what goes on during these recording processes. So I got a few questions for clarification. All right. Number one, did any of you guys hear the beat prior to actually rolling up there that day?
Nah, he actually offered to send. He actually offered. Yeah. Sorry. Let me say this quickly. He offered to send me the beat or send us the beat the night. I think it was maybe the Thursday or the Wednesday prior to the Sunday that we were going in, and I was like, nah, Speak, come on, man. Like, we're gonna pull up there, and it's just gonna. I know for a fact, first of all, that it's gonna be quality. So if you are sending the beat to test the
To
waters.
alleviate that, like,
yeah,
it's cool.
like
we
relax,
got you.
relax. I know.
Yeah.
Good. Don't send the beat, man. We'll just get over there and we'll fight. But will just
We'll
come
fight
prepared,
right
and we'll just
So
come
okay,
prepared.
so it was authentic. You got an authentic speaker experience. You show up, brand new beat, never heard it before. Second question. All right, was it done in one take? So I'm told that the speaker freestyles, well, one of the unique things about them is that 9 times out of 10, that it's all done in one take, and if the artist fucks up, he keeps it the way that it is anyway, unless the artist make us think about it. And then some there, he says there have been some occasions where they've allowed artists to go more than once. All right, what was your experience? Was this a one shot or a redo? Because during somebody's freestyle, someone says something about like 4th time's the charm or something like that. Someone makes like a little side comment, and I'm listening, and I'm like, nah, I heard that. I think someone's lying about something now. Someone's lying about something.
You heard that 3rd time's the charm. That was me, because that was my 3rd time on the show on
the
Speaker's channel.
Okay.
That's what I'm alluding to right there. But no, we didn't do that in one take. It wasn't one take right through. I think there was some part where I fucked up, and we had to take it up, do the take
it
again.
back, bring it back. I got you.
Yeah. And also like we stopped after I rap. We had to stop it because you can actually hear the transition between me and Mel. Like he raps essentially while I'm finishing off my rap. So we had to. So he had to stop me, then edit it and bring it. You know what I mean? And I think Lebo had a couple of takes as well, but like it wasn't like
I think
we were in
just written that verse. It was fresh.
Yeah, that was a fresh verse.
So is that gonna sit on your conscience for the rest of your life? That you guys that for the rest of your life you have to know that the speaker freestyle wasn't a one taker. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't matter to you. I need to know. Is this like, are you not gonna sleep tonight? Are you gonna be like, man, we really like we could have pushed it back one more day. I could have.
Oh shit! I'm sleeping lovely Z's tonight. I'm good.
That's not fair. You're probably medicated. That's different. That's
you know what I mean?
That is still good.
We're in there with the brothers, and we got some new shit out in the streets after so long, man. We got to come correct for the people. You know what I mean?
Talk about it.
So it was more respect for everybody, and you waited this long, so you're gonna get that good work.
You might as well get the okay. All right, I know this is our little secret. Our little secret. That's fine.
The first time, the first time I went out there, I found them making the beat that I was gonna rap to, and that beat changed my plans. I'd come there with plans. I came with plans, damn it. And I get there and I'm like, damn it, this nigga's rhythm in this beat isn't quite the one. And he asked me, do you want us to maybe change the beat? And I was like, no, speaker. I'm gonna keep it real. Let's go. Okay. And I rapped it. I wanted to do a second take because I was all nervous and shit. And I think I messed up a line somewhere. But by the end of that take, I was just like, you got it, speaker. You got it, buddy. All right. Yeah, there it is. But yeah, it was a bit different for me coming around with my brothers this time around. It's one of those, if we're here to dance, my niggas, tonight, we're gonna get it right. We're gonna get it right. You gonna spin over there, I'm gonna get you with the little, and then you go.
Y'all drive up together?
Yeah.
Y'all drive up together there?
Yeah. We pulled up together.
See that those are the situations I want to be in, right? I would love to have been on the car ride on the way to the freestyle session. Like that, like that's where the stories are. That's where the legends get made. You know what I'm saying? Like those are the coffee shop conversations. Like, you don't know. Cap had a whole different verse. He was spitting on the way up there. As soon as he heard the beat, he turned around. Mel told him, keep it. Mel told him, keep it. We're gonna go anyway.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, we was
That's dope.
bumping King's Disease on our way out there. I think, yeah, it was the
Actually,
day,
Okay.
it was
yeah,
the day
yeah.
after the King's Disease thing came out. We was just like vibing, man. Like it was because we hadn't been together, I guess since we had done there was another interview that we had done, like an interview rap thing that we had done, but we hadn't
Yeah.
seen each other in a little bit, so it was dope, man. We just rolled out there and be like, "Yo, let's go crush this for Speak right quick," and we kicked it that day. The rest of the day, we just kicked it. After that was just one of them dope ass days. You feel me?
That's fire.
Word,
That's
Rapping
fire.
together, you know what I mean?
Bro, shout out to Speak. If you guys are checking this channel out and you're watching, you made it this long in the
Shout out to
interview and you're
Speak.
not already go subscribe to shit. If you love my shit, you're gonna love that shit. I'll tell you that right now. Because man,
Speaker, what up? Speak, what up, man?
Me, you know what I mean?
is there anything more hip hop than just having a home studio, making beats on the spot, telling motherfuckers to rap? You get one, like come on, like that's it, dog. What's your favorite? What's your favorite Speaker freestyle upon arrival? Like you have like going into it, you have one that you end up going back to the most was like, nah, I ran this one back a million times. Like this is my like vintage Speaker freestyle that like locked me in.
I enjoyed y'all Children of the Corn freestyle when you came through with the 05 cats.
Word.
I really enjoyed that. It was just different. Each MC was different. I kind of felt what people say when they say the assembly is not. It's different cats that are working together to make the same vision happen. I got to see it happen when you and your cats were doing the thing because it was just a seamless passing of baton. Cats were really passionate.
The
Youngbloods
are fucking nice, dog.
Literally
The
one of my
Youngbloods
favorite
are nice.
episodes. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I got a couple. I think I got a track or two from Chabi.
Tony
like,
Dangler. My bad. Tony Dangler, another
I was just rapping with Tony and Ilya
Ilya Tone
on fucking Twitter Spaces, dog. No, I was just spitting with them like literally like 2 days ago, and like I walk up in there, dog, and I'm like crushing shit with my fucking verses and stuff, and these motherfuckers just start rapping off the top, and they probably did like 1,000, like easy, 1,000 bars, easy, seamless.
They're nice.
I was like, let me mute myself real quick. I sat in the back. I was like, y'all got this. I'm watching, y'all.
Them boys. And they because they're of that cloth, they really talk that language, man, that we are tuned into, definitely, of the cats from here, Trilly is one of them as well. I actually want because I saw Speak try to reach out to him for that for the Sotra cipher. So I actually need to speak to Trilly to go out there and go see Speak, man. That might be. I'm gonna set that up. If I gotta take Trilly out there,
do that.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna
make
do
that
that.
happen. Yeah.
I'm surprised. I would have thought that would have been something he'd have been done because that's definitely like. That's like his shit. You know what I mean? Like that's definitely up his alley. Like he's gonna thrive in that area.
Facts.
Like that's his shit, dog.
Facts.
Word.
Big facts. Nah, but I think he'll definitely do it. I mean, he probably just needs the right people to talk to him, and I'm the right person to talk to him. I'll speak to Trilly. I'll get him out there.
You'll tell me, give me at least 3 minutes on the freestyle. I'll put it on the channel. Give me at least 3 minutes. make it long enough to react to it. I got it.
Yeah.
All right, bro. This has been super fucking dope, dog. I would want to thank you guys for coming and fucking kicking it, dog. It's been a long time coming.
Word, man. Thank you for having us out, man. Hey,
it was fire, dog.
It's love, man. Thank you.
If you guys are checking us out now, all right, I want you to go. The orientation is out on Bandcamp. Before it's out on all DSPs, make sure you guys cop that, check that out. While you're there, check the inspection. That was the first album that got put out. Make sure you guys go and tap in with the older shit if you like the newer shit, understand your roots and everything like that. That's all I got. You guys got anything you want to?
Yeah, we'll slide you the link. Steve, put it in the
Drop a
description
comment on
and
the
all that.
video, and I'll pin it.
Yeah,
I'll pin the comment.
Yeah.
Drop a
bet,
comment with it, and I'll pin it.
bet.
So yeah, check out the comment. It'll have all the links. As always, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I will catch y'all on the next one. Let's go. That was fire.